Nick all the time. You guys ready? Until midnight last night. There we go. JB, you got sound? Test. Hello, hello.
Yeah, we got audio.
Check, 1, 2.
Can you hear me, Flannel?
I can.
Okay, they were having issues yesterday.
Wake up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid. Hi.
Fired up!
But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener! Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
This is the tightest this group has been. This is the tightest this 2024 team has been. We found something special last year, man. I felt it going into this game. Man, it's like we're in here together, and I don't feel people pulling us away. Nobody's coming out of that circle, man. That's exactly where you want to be right now, all right? It's a hell of a win. You guys didn't let off the gas. That's a way to finish it out. I do have 2 game balls, and this time I wrote down some stats. Let's start here on offense. 18 to 25, 315 yards passing, all right? 3 tugs. 153.8 quarterback rating. Jared Goff.
Thanks, boys. Love y'all. Keep going.
Absolutely. This player came up to me last week and he said, "Hey, coach, if I get a takeaway, can I break the team down next week?" And I said, "If you get 2, you can break them down all week." Well, he got more than that, man. All right, this guy had 6 tackles, had a PBU, 2 PBUs. He had 2 interceptions, and then 1 punch out, man. BB!
Shoot, I just want to say I love y'all boys, and we really finna go on the stretch.
Our division starts this week. That's a great win. Break it down.
Hey, real quick. Our f***ing head coach is our f***ing rock now. We're in f***ing Dallas, in his f***ing place where he played game ball.
How about a little kick ass on 3? 1, 2, 3. Kick ass!
What up, though, people? Thank you guys for choosing to kick off this Victory Monday with the Wake Up Woodward show. What up, though, Flannel Sam?
Hey, I'm wearing my polo, so it must be Victory Monday,
that's
right?
Frederico
Hey.
Polo on a Victory Monday. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the entire network. Oh, man, I want to be absolutely on 150 million% after drubbing the Cowboys. But there is this cloud of Aiden Hutchinson that looms above.
Yeah, this is a bittersweet Victory Monday
Yes,
in a myriad of ways. And just for the record, guys, we will be talking no Tigers today. I understand it was important. I understand that they got eliminated in the ALDS, but we will cover all of that throughout the rest of the week and most importantly tomorrow. Today is all Lions from wire to wire because there is just so much to cover because in some ways that was the most satisfying win I've ever watched as a Lions fan, except for one big dark cloud. And we'll get into that more as the show goes on.
Definitely. But, hey, shout out to Stick in the building. We got JB Smooth, Woodward Sports' MVP in the building. I see a headset over there, man. So you're in the TD space. I wanted to be able to say what up, though, to you, too, brother.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. Hey.
Yeah. And you guys see the backdrop. We are at Feldman Chevrolet of Novitas, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. And you know what, brother? We're going to have to take some of these cars out for a spin someday.
I would love to. I mean, I've taken pretty good care of the car that I actually bought from here. So hey, everybody, Ryan Palter, are you here? Hey, Ryan Palter, if you want to let me test drive, I will be happy to oblige with any of these cars that I probably will never be able to have for myself. But that's all right. I can still dream.
Definitely. And you know what, Flannel, I got to ask you I know we'll get to the Aiden Hutchinson stuff. We do have to focus on the victory. Because why? Because even Aiden Hutchinson, the news that is being reported is that even he is focusing on victory, getting healthy, and if the Lions get to the Super Bowl, trying to be there. So we do got to talk about this win, despite the bittersweetness of it.
Oh, yeah.
And they destroyed the Cowboys. All of us had a feeling that the Detroit Lions would have some great success on offense, and they definitely did that. Ben Johnson was cooking. But this was a game where they absolutely, offensively, defensively, special teams even, shout out to Jake Bates, they put the Cowboys in a bag, and they didn't even care to bury them. They just left them out.
The Lions beat the Cowboys' ass like they stole something. Yeah. It was just a dominating win from wire to wire. There wasn't even a second where it was competitive, and it was just beautiful. And this is the NFL.
Beautiful.
I don't care that the Cowboys were depleted by injuries. It's still really, really hard to go into any NFL team's house and beat them by 38 points, score more than 40, allow
Jerry's
less than
world.
And that's the thing.
Let's go.
You could tell that the Lions took this personally. I know that there's a lot of coach speak going around, and it's just one game. It really matters, like, just getting to the playoffs, but they took this Cowboys thing personally because we all know what happened last year, but it wasn't just last year. The ghost of Jerry World's past has haunted the Lions,
oh, my word,
going all the way back to that 2014 playoff game, and the Lions just vanquished some demons. It was absolutely beautiful to watch, and you can tell that they all took this personally. They beat the Cowboys' ass in a way that I've never seen the Lions beat anyone before.
What was Amon-Ra and Malcolm? Shout out to the meat missile. What would they turn up to? Hey, walk in your trap, take over your trap. Hey. You know, and that's exactly what they did. I saw Sheila and I saw Birthday Boy, Jerry's World, out on the field chopping it up before the game. And some people thought that was bad mojo. They were like, yo, get her away from him right now. But I told you guys, Sheila's walking into some of these House of Horrors, and she's taking out a mortgage on these places. She already got Lambeau last year. Yeah. This one, you remember how comfortable we were watching that Lambeau massacre? Yeah. How did they do that ×2 against the Cowboys, who a lot of teams were like, oh, man, you know, if you sleep on the Cowboys, their offense will this. Or if you sleep on the Cowboys, you know, their defense can. No, I didn't see anything. 9 points?
No, you can stay asleep on the Cowboys because there's no reason to say anything other than that. Because,
put that on the shirt.
Because obviously the Lions, they went out and went in their home, put their feet up, you know, slept with their wives, all of that. They did everything. It was a 38-point beatdown. But the Cowboys, what a pathetic showing by them.
Talk about it.
Just absolutely awful. I mean, 9 points, giving up 47. And the Cowboys, they've made it a tradition this year, or at least a trend, getting blown out at home. And you know what? You just hate to see it.
Oh, man, in just the most satisfyingly way.
Yes.
JB, I need your reaction, man, at least on the game. We're going to get to Aiden Hutchinson stuff. And, you know, but this game last night, like Flandel said, you can stay asleep on the Cowboys. But these Detroit Lions, I saw what you put there. They are America's team.
We are now America's team. Sorry, Jerry, but your run is done and it's over. Also, happy birthday to Jerry. We gave him a nice little gift with this ass whooping, might I add as well, too, just to throw that on just a little bit more. But if I could describe this game in one word, it's just pure dominance. You just dominated the Cowboys last night. And honestly, it was a surprise, and I was happy to see that as well, too. We seen the pain that we went through last season, and they just did not want any fans to be in doubt at all to think that they were going to let that game slip away, and they did not. So credit to Aaron Glenn throwing up this defense, and also credit to Ben Johnson and all these offensive plays. He was trying to get a offensive lineman in the end zone somehow, some way, but it just didn't happen. Maybe save that trick for a couple games later on, but, man, pure dominance from this Lions team.
Pure dominance. And shout out to you, chat family. As always, you guys are the most important part of the entire WUW Crew family. We appreciate you guys greatly for definitely choosing to kick off this morning with us. Shout out to that dude, Justin, intern Chase. Shout out to Matt Broder. They were locking it down this morning with Woodward and Man with T. Foss and Spinney and those guys. We got KG in the building as well, Detroit's #1 draft pick. But, hey, let's get the chat involved here a little bit. Drago, my feelings hurt about Hutch. I feel you. I feel you. Shout out to Tammy Chin. She says, have a great morning, everyone. Have a great morning to you, to our chat MVP. And you know what? Mitten Maid. Shout out to Brian Branch. BB. Woo! And I know Anson keeps trying to push this Honey Brancher thing. Stick had me cracking up about that last night on the postgame show. If you missed it, go back and watch the postgame show. But Brian Branch, wow. Talk about stepping up.
I'll tell you what. I think Honey Brancher is maybe the worst nickname I've ever heard in my life. Sorry, Anson. I love you, but it's absolutely awful. And I'll tell you what.
It ain't happening.
I'm not going to get too far ahead of my skis because we got a whole segment to talk about the return of the branch. However, Honey Badger might be selling, comparing him to the Honey Badger, might be selling Brian Branch a little bit short. That's all I'm saying. There were a couple of other names that I thought of when watching Brian Branch play yesterday, and they are
short, like not wearing the shorts today.
Absolutely. Hey, no knees, no free knees for you guys. But
give the people what they want.
But there are some names that you certainly will recognize that I thought of when watching Brian Branch play yesterday afternoon into the evening. I will tell you more about that later because Brian Branch had himself a day. Definitely Defensive Player of the Week. No question about it.
Definitely. KG, what up, though, man? We were there. We were watching the game together. Obviously, the cloud that is Aiden Hutchinson, it does loom. We're going to get into that into the second segment, but just your initial takeaway about the Lions. Obviously a big loss, but they still asserted their dominance both offensively and defensively, even after the loss of one Hutch, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the most complete game I've ever seen the Lions play, like flat out, period. I can't remember a time where offense dominated, defense dominated, and, you know, they got out of there with a resounding victory on the road. Like, this was absolutely amazing. Even after Hutch went down, this team still put up points. They didn't let that, you know, affect them. They went out there, they still made their imprint on this game, and on offense, you got it from everybody, man. I can go down the list. I mean, Jared Goff had a great game. Montgomery, Gibbs. We got a JMO sighting. Khalif Raymond, Tim Patrick, Sam Laporta. Like, it was so many names that got off. And defensively, you love what you saw from Brian Branch. Aleem McNeil had himself a day. Yep. Even Trevor Nowalski. Where did he come from? He came out there and made some plays. So
everybody was getting reps.
Man, it was great to see. And I think it was undersold that the Lions really wanted this game against the Cowboys, but they went in there in Jerry World and handled business, even with all things considered.
They didn't just want this game. They wanted to rub it in. They were trying. Bro, when I saw Decker come in and both of them reported as eligible, I was like, wow, they're tricking right now. They are absolutely tricking right now. And that was my thing, man. With this Detroit Lions team, they're developing a little bit of swag. It's okay, yeah, you want to get the foundation right. You want to get the players right. You want to get the game plan and the coaches. But right now, they're carrying that big stick energy that Dan Campbell has had from day one. From day one. But this team, they've had to earn that. And now they're earning the right to walk that way and to talk that way and to have their coach say, hey, you know what? We're going to go multiple trick plays in this game. That's what we're going to do this game. And we're going to have fun. It was just like, you know what? Awesome.
Absolutely. With what happened last year and the whole Decker reported and whatnot, combined with the fact that the Lions went into Dallas and beat them by 38, you can try anything you want. If you want to try a hook and ladder to Penei Sewell, go ahead, try it. If you want to see John Skipper line up at wide receiver, which I'm still not convinced I actually saw, but, you know, it actually happened, you can do that. If you want to try to throw into Decker, you can do that because at that point, the game was over pretty much midway through the second quarter. So at that point, you can try to troll. You can try to rub it in because that loss last year really stung. It stung all of us.
Big Show Picks, the Lions just scored again.
Of course they did. Of course they did. And they're going to be scoring tomorrow. They're going to be scoring the next day. It was one of the easiest. It was one of the smoothest and most efficient and easiest looking offenses I think I've ever seen from a Lions team. Maybe I've ever seen from a Lions team, period. And more on that in just a couple of minutes.
Definitely. And shout out to Brian Ruth, TA with 0 flags.
Hey.
Just saying.
Beautiful.
Shout out to Terry. KG.
You know I've been on it.
My man KG looked up, took the mute off his mic, He put his hands in the whole yard Morpheus phase. Now, talk to me about Terrion Arnold, man.
Hey, Terrion Arnold, he didn't get flagged yesterday. Why is that? No, seriously, man, this kid.
Wait, you mean to tell me that a rookie actually can get better from week to week?
What?
Oh, my goodness.
Hold on. You making too much sense now. But, no, like, what he did yesterday was absolutely amazing. They did want to try to single him out in this game, man. So he got to check CD Lamb. He got to check Tolbert. They made a lot of different moves on him, but he held serve every time. And, of course, he was highlighted by that big fourth down stop in the first half, man. And I thought that was a great play made by him. But he's getting cleaner every single week. He's going to continue to learn, and he's going to continue to build. So that's why I said just stick with the kid for now. He's going to get better as this year goes along. He's not going to continuously get flagged. And yesterday, that was the first example of that.
He looked absolutely phenomenal. And before we go to break, Dan Skipper. I did call him John. That was my bad. You can crucify me all you want for that one. It is Dan Skipper. My bad.
Brian Roof, TA looking like a top 10 pick last night. Hey, it was good to see. And I know we're gonna talk a lot more about these Detroit Lions, but obviously in the second segment, we're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson. Oh, yeah. Man. Hey, you guys, definitely, at first, though, get your how you're feeling about this Detroit Lions win, and then we're going to get into this Aiden Hutchinson stuff as well. But let me tell you about where you guys can get the best Lions pregame at every single home game. It's at Second Best Bar, 42 Watson Street in downtown Detroit. Listen, we want you guys to be able to join us there each and every home game. The best environments, the best atmospheres, the fans are there. You get to mingle and mix with some of our Woodward sports personalities as well, and you're just within touch of Ford Field. It's an epic environment. Hey, and also, get a taste of that smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show. Second Best Bar. Come get some.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, Dispo, where you can go for all of your cannabis needs. And how would you like $10 off of $10 of free products from Dispo Dispensary? I know that you would. And that's what happens if you make a purchase of at least $25. You can scan the QR code, walk into Dispo, get all of the best cannabis products from weed to pre-rolls to just anything you could possibly want. So go to Dispo today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Great read, sir.
Hey,
weeds.
Let me just put a little break in between there before I say this. 1, 2. Hey, welcome back to Feldman Chevrolet of Novi's, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership. It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. Flannel Sam, I'm sorry. To be ever more appropriate on this Victory Monday. It is Federico Polo over here.
Ooh.
It's your boy Detroit Kool-Aid. We got KG in the building. JB Smooth. Stick is in the building as well. I'm glad that they ran roughshod over the Cowboys, but it came at a bit of a cost, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but first my heart breaks, and then it feels gut-wrenching, like Spinny said, and then for whatever reason, I thought about his family and flannel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm being as real as I
Yeah.
can
No,
because
I know.
it is. It's a sad thing. This is somebody who, you know what I mean? As fans and as people who cover this stuff, we've seen the ups, we've seen the downs, and you've been somebody that's been really consistent with how you're going to make sure you portray him. And I'm just trying to be for real, man, with it.
Yeah, and honestly, just from a fan's perspective, I'm going to say from my perspective as a fan, he's my favorite Michigan player of all time. He's my favorite Lions player of all time. So it really sucked seeing him go down. He went down, he broke his tibia while sacking Dak Prescott, which was pretty prophetic in and of itself. And the fact that he was still able to get Dak Prescott to the ground after his shin smashed into Ali McNeil, that was pretty – I mean, he's a warrior. He's an Iron Man, and let's hope for a speedy recovery. Prayers up to him, prayers up to his family. It was certainly a gut-wrenching moment for all of us, but just as from the Lions' perspective, Aiden Hutchinson was – the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. He was on pace to set the sack record, and now he's not going to be there for what looks like you could assume the season. I know I've heard some things, but probably the whole regular season, so it's going to be tough. He was the best player on the defense. He was, like I said, trending to be All-Pro, trending to potentially be Defensive Player of the Year, and it's a loss that is not going to be easy to. It's a void that's not going to be easy to fill. And I'll tell you what, the Lions, not to get into this too much, I don't think they have enough right now. I'll just say that.
The real K77, he said, I thought about flannel too. And Shawshank, he says, anyone from Ipsy in the chat need to whisper in Max Crosby's DMs for him to request a trade. And I know that's where everyone's mind instantly goes when they saw, wow, everyone's minds was already there, you know, even before this injury. And now everybody's saying it's more or less a necessity. Obviously, to get an edge rusher, but before we get there, continue to process this Aiden Hutchinson loss, what it means to us personally as well as what it means to the team, because you're right. A lot of us on this platform are Michigan fans. All of us on this platform are diehard Lions and Aiden Hutchinson fans and supporters. You know, KG, Aiden Hutchinson, man. Just want to give you a chance to speak your piece on it.
Yeah, it's a tough loss. I mean, there's no, sugarcoating it or anything. You just hope this injury isn't something that it will affect him long term. Even when he comes back, having that type of injury, you just hope that he has some semblance of himself when he comes back. But I mean, in the interim right now, and I said this on the post-game show, and I wasn't trying to be a Debbie Downer by any means, but we don't have precedents, for the Lions to be in this situation. So I don't necessarily know how they'll handle it, because we know how they normally go out in the free agent market and in the trade market. They're very shrewd with their moves. So, I mean, not saying that they can't go out and get somebody. It is very possible they have the cap space to go do so, and I do feel like they hung on to this cap space for this reason. Now, of course, you didn't think Hutch would go down. You maybe want to add something to complement Hutch, but in this situation, I do agree that they don't have enough. And if you're in a Super Bowl run, then, maybe you put a few more cards on the table than you normally would have. Go get somebody and make sure that this season isn't all for naught. But who knows, man? There's names floating around. Trey Hendrickson, maybe even Myles Garrett. We don't know. He could be somebody that you go after. Max Crosby. Everybody wants Max Crosby. I want Max Crosby, but don't know how realistic it is. But I trust that, this organization will make the right moves and keep us in position to win the Super Bowl.
JB Smooth. What up, though, brother?
Hey, man, what more can you say? Like, I was down at Ford Field when the injury happened. Everyone in the audience was still trying to, put together what they just seen. And you had people praying that he's going to be okay. It's just a stinger. It's nothing bad. I hopped on the internet as soon as I could to try and find any close-up videos that someone might have took of it. Found it, showed it to the people who were in front and behind me, and they just all fell back in their seats. They were devastated. I'm talking about grown men at Ford Field with Hutch jerseys on, just destroyed. They knew their favorite player was done and it was over with. But yes, I will have to agree with KG. I don't think we have enough in the tank to push us through to get to this Super Bowl. You need someone else there. I know the team rallied behind Hutch's injury to get this big win and keep the momentum going as much as they could. But, yes, you are going to have to look for someone else, an edge rusher out there. I know Max Crosby is the big name right now, but let's be realistic. I don't know if he's going to want to come here.
Then my question to everybody, including you, chat family, is this. Do you have the same expectations for the Lions following the Hutchinson injury? Because if they don't have enough, do we have to adjust those expectations? Or is this a situation where you have to cash in on this window? We said it before that the only thing that can slow this Lions team, as I continue to think about it, like logically on paper, what are they talking about? Of course they're going to get back. We said injuries.
I think this is a time where desperate times call for desperate measures. You have to make that move to make it so it's still Super Bowl or bust. Because don't get it twisted, it is still Super Bowl or bust. Windows like this don't last forever. And obviously one of the most devastating things that could have happened to hinder this Super Bowl window happened. And I get it. It's really, really tough. But as KG said, I'm not saying it's realistic, but like the Browns aren't looking so good, the Raiders aren't looking so good. I'm just saying, or even if there's just a move to be made at the trade deadline, you got to look into it. You have to throw every resource you can at it, because I'm looking at this team with an Aiden Hutchinson, with how dominant they looked both when he was in there and when he was out, but certainly when he was in, where they built up a 34-6 lead and thought this is the best team in the NFL. Not even the Chiefs. The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFL at that time. Yeah. At that time.
It still counts. I'll take that.
No, for sure.
That's worth 50 victory laps.
For sure. But without Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm not trying to sound doomsday, I'm not even sure they win the division. If they don't replace him adequately. The Vikings are 5-0, the Packers are 4-2, and the Bears are 4-2.
That's steep.
But it's a tough division. It's a tough division.
I don't know if I'm ready to say
Aiden
that.
Hutchinson,
I'm not there yet. I understand that we have to account for the fact that Aiden Hutchinson is a loss, and he's a big loss. He was looking like one of the top 5 players in football this year, man. And I feel like that's even underrating him just a little bit with the impact he was having. Like you have a bye week and you're still leading the league in sacks after some guys had some pretty good weeks. But to me, this is where Aaron Glenn, who has made up for a lack of personnel in the past, this is where Terrell Williams. This is where you have these guys and some of the small depth pieces that we talked about that we wanted to see out of guys. I don't know why James Houston is yet again another healthy scratch, but this is where I at least from the internal component, because you do have to do something external, but from at least the internal, I do believe that they're a little bit better insulated than, say, if this was last season.
They are, but I see a lot of people in the chat, including intern Shay, Sam overreacting like usual. Here's the thing. Let me ask you this question, guys, because I'm not saying this out of joy or out of glee or out of trying to be right. Are the Lions currently leading the division?
No.
No, they are not. How far behind
That's not their fault, though, but.
How far behind?
They haven't played the NFC.
I understand that.
I mean, an NFC North.
I understand that. How far behind are the Packers and the Bears? Half a game.
Not far behind.
Is Aiden Hutchinson your best defensive player? Yes. Was he leading the NFL in sacks? Yes. Is Marcus Davenport also out for the season? Yes. Is John Kaminsky also out? Yes. I'm not trying to be doomsday, but right now I'm looking at a James Houston who can't even touch the field. I'm looking at a Josh Pascal who is, let's just face it, he's Josh Pascal. I'm looking at maybe Levi O playing edge. I'm looking at Isaac Uku, and I'm thinking, that's our edge rushers. That's who's going to get after the quarterback. That's why I think Brad Holmes will be more aggressive and he will do something because it is a Super Bowl window. I'm just saying that the people who are acting like, it's fine, next man up. I've even seen somebody like Byrne be a clown and be like, the defense actually might be better in the long term without Aiden Hutchinson. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't know what problem.
Aiden Hutchinson was going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and now he's gone. At least for this season, for the regular season, he's gone.
I was waiting.
Wiped off the face of the earth, and people are like, that's fine. No drop-off. What are you talking about?
I've been scouring the chat, and I found one person who agrees with you.
Okay.
Tracy CC123. Flannel was right. Without Hutch, the Lions are going to struggle, and I hope I'm wrong. That's where I do have to push back just a little bit. You're going to definitely feel the miss of Aiden Hutchinson. but you got to scheme something up. You got to take what you have right now, because just as we want Hutch to step up to the next level, we want Aaron Glenn to take the next level as a coordinator. We want other players on this squad to take that next level. They're going to have to do something to pick up their brother, because if this was boom or bust on simply Aiden Hutchinson, then this was not the contender that we thought that they were coming into the season. Of course, Aiden Hutchinson pushes them over the edge, but this is a squad to me that when you wear that Detroit, because they decided to put that Detroit across their chest this year, that comes with a little bit different grit and grime that does defy logic. There's a certain resiliency that goes with that, and I know we're talking more intangibles, but that is a part of sports. This squad, I do believe they have internally enough to resiliently overcome. And I'm not saying it's going to be something easy, but as it relates to the NFC North, I don't believe that this division is in question for the Detroit Lions. As it relates to their long-term Super Bowl hopes, I do believe that those are a little bit more in question, but that, to me, at that point in time, depends on what Brad chooses to do to be able to bring in the necessary support, or what this squad does internally to take some big leaps forward. There are people we thought were going to do that just haven't up to this point. If they take even a marginal step forward, you do have a little bit more than I think people believe right now.
That's fine, but there's no Aiden, and I just
You're right.
I don't want to. I don't want to undersell that, and I see people are really upset that I hated on Josh Paschal. I'm not hating on Josh Paschal. You can even say that he's been fine and that he played well yesterday.
Yeah.
But I don't want Josh Paschal to be counted on as somebody who needs to get 8 to 10 sacks, because that's not who he is. As like your number one edge rusher, I'm not down with that. And
you're getting more support in the chat. Terrell from FL, he said that's BS Kool-Aid. Reality is going to hit you guys in the face on Sunday when we play a real team. I'm not saying that you're not going to feel the miss of an Aiden Hutchinson. What I'm saying is, if this team is not equipped with players that can step up when you lose somebody, then what team are we talking about?
Exactly.
And if fans are going to be in the chat promulgating that, what are we talking about? No, because the makeup of your team has to be that. Whether those guys are good enough or not, the makeup of your team, from the players to your front office to your coaches, has to be that. Or otherwise, Dan Campbell don't stand up there on the podium and say, next man up. Don't do that, period. You got to find a way to overcome. You just have to. It's going to take a combination of things, and I agree with that. Are you going to see the effects of losing a Hutchinson? Yes, because teams are going to scheme differently against your defensive front now. That's where you're going to have to take the opportunity to say, you know what, this is what we're going to do better. This is what we're going to do different. This is how we're going to counteract. You have to. If you're telling me, fold up the cards and go home right now, that's where I just kind of push back a little bit.
No, and I'm not saying fold up the cards. I'm saying what I said at the beginning was not, the Lions aren't making the playoffs, they're not going to win the division. What I'm saying is that I think an Aiden Hutchinson loss can potentially swing things, or maybe swing a game or two to where they don't win the division. And I'm saying that also because they're not even leading it right now. The Vikings are, and they're in the toughest division in football.
True, but
that's all I'm saying.
I could care less about the NFC North. It's all about getting to the playoffs and the long-term window for a Super Bowl. Now, the good teams find a way, and Kool-Aid, I feel like you spot on with that, because that's just the reality. You know, we can sit up here and blame, Hutch if things go wrong down the pipe. We can sit up here and, hey, Hutch, we lost us for the season in week 6. Yeah. But it's not going to matter. The good teams find a way, and the mission is still the mission, getting the playoffs, winning the playoffs. The division, I would love to have it, but it doesn't sway me like that. I'm really more concerned about what the long-term window looks like in a deep playoff run, and that's where I feel like you were spot on.
And so you believe for the Lions, at the most part, you want to see that internal growth. And I do agree with Flannel. I don't want to undersell the loss of Aiden Hutchinson mixed with the loss of another edge and some other help on that defensive line. That I don't want to undersell. I don't want people to think that that's something I'm understating. But I'm more or less to what we were talking about. Like, there has to be something internally that can kick it up just another notch. And then obviously Brad Holmes, he's gonna have to do something. They left themselves with flexibility, like you talked about, and there are some potential options out there, like you and KG have talked about. I know, I think all three of you, including Spinney, are probably in lockstep with Hendrickson.
Oh, dude! And speaking of teams that are struggling, the Cincinnati Bengals, and those are the type of guys that Brad Holmes should be on the lookout for. Teams that are looking to dump some salary that maybe have underperformed, like the Cincinnati Bengals, like the Las Vegas Raiders, like maybe the Cleveland Browns. And I get it; those are maybe up high in the sky, but
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that I expect Brad Holmes to make a move, but I think if he doesn't, that there's not enough on the defensive line, at least when it comes to the edge rusher position, because rushing the quarterback is one of the most important things you can do in all of football.
And I think that's where all of us, that's what we've all agreed. That JB, you too, man, before we get into this next segment, is it that where we all agree that whether it's a division or not, we can all argue about that, but this year was about a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we do agree, all of us agree here, the loss of Hutch. Plus, I don't want to downplay. I've seen DNC and other people in the chat. I don't want to downplay the losses here. We can't do that. We can't. Hutch is the greatest, and then when we lose them, Hutch is. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but they're still a playoff team even without Hutch.
But we all agree that they're Super Bowl right now.
Yeah.
That's something that if Brad does nothing, we don't believe that they have enough.
Well, and yes, and I promise for the rest of the show, we're going to be waxing poetic about everything that the Lions did, both when Hutch was in the game and when he was without. Before we get to that, though, I want to read this $10 super chat from Byrne. Thank you very much, because I called him out a little bit, but you know what? To his credit.
A little bit?
No, to his credit.
Just a little bit, just a smidge.
Just a little bit. To his credit. All right, Sam, let me clarify. I said in the long term because Holmes will get a real edge talent, and when Hutch returns next year, we will be elite. Yeah, it is cope. That's all we can do, Sam. I'm hurt. And you know what, Byrne? I respect that. I don't blame anybody for coping right now. I'm coping to some degree. And you guys might think that I'm taking the train to negative town. The only thing that I want to impress upon you guys is that you can talk about next man up, you can talk about culture and guys playing above themselves, but Aiden Hutchinson was tracking to be a top 10 player in all of the NFL and the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
That's a big loss.
Yeah. Best player on your
defense.
defense.
That.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not just best player. Heart and soul and voted the captain.
Yeah.
You don't just replace that. You try and find a way to make do.
Yep. And, hey, the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team, hey? We'll take some salary off your hands. And I think I forgot who else Theo, Zadarius Smith. When we're talking about the Browns, it doesn't just have to be Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
I get it. It doesn't move the needle, but it doesn't move the needle like one of the big dogs, but
I'll take him.
It'd be better than what we currently have. He'd be the best player. He'd be the best edge rusher on the team immediately.
Facts.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's get into this next one because we do got to talk about this offense. Ben Johnson and Cole.
Yes.
Jared Goff. That's a special connection, man.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Both of those guys are going to make each other a lot of money. Jared Goff has already gotten that from some stuff we've heard about Ben Johnson. Maybe he's getting that plus more on the side. Who knows? But, wow. What a combination. We're going to talk about it, man. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. What we got to talk about, Mr. JB Smooth?
Planet Fitness.
Hey, Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. They've got all of the best amenities. If you want to get a black card, you can upgrade to that and you can go to any of the 50 Metro Detroit locations. Every weight at every gym you'll ever find is the same. It's just Planet Fitness is cheaper and more affordable. And you know what? If you are on a budget but you want to get in shape, with the holidays coming up, go to Planet Fitness because it's Planet Fitness where your fitness is essential.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Divorce. Shout out Chris Platty. But it is not a laughing matter, because if you're going through divorce, child custody, or any other issues, it's a really rough time in your life, and you need somebody who's got your back. And Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law will certainly have your back. They've got availability 24/7. They will get you right. They will get you a good deal, because you know what? In the short term, it'll hurt, but in the long term, if you go to KDK Law, you will look back on this time and be like, damn, my life is looking up again, thanks to KDK Law. So give them a call or go to their website and let them help you out.
Yeah, and you know what? And everything gets settled and you're looking for that way forward, head on over to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, because they'll get you looking right, crispy, and nice for the rest of your life. Hey, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. I'm sure there's a QR code somewhere on the screen so that you can get that $20 haircut special. Make sure you scan that and take advantage of it. It's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in anytime. Walk-ins are always welcome. It's wicked awesome.
Man, here we go again. This team ain't gonna never win. I'm ashamed to be a fan. Got me lying to my friends. Louis belt straight to ass. That cannot complete a pass. CD Lamb been playing trash. Man, how long is this gonna last? Damn. Get it, Jerry. Yeah. Quit it, Jerry. Yeah. Retire, Jerry. Yeah. We gotta fire, Jerry. Yeah. Boy, you know this team super bad. I ain't lying. No. Every week we taking belt to ass. That shit piss me. That cannot complete a simple pass. Where he tryna? Man, how long is this shit gonna last? Who you throwing? Took a 40 ball, beating 2 times. It's like a sequence. Wow. Dak, who you throwing to? He threw it to the defense. I'm like, Dak, who you throwing it to? He threw it to the ops. I'm like, Dak, you gotta stop. Dak, go to the barber shop. Get that hairline fixed. And maybe you'll stop throwing picks. And maybe CD Lamb will stop being the diva and he'll stop throwing fits. And maybe Mike McCarthy will be on the sideline wearing some clothes that fit. And maybe Jerry Jones just might retire because he old as shit.
Yeah.
Woo! Man, yo, you know what? That got me a little bit fired up right now, because you know what? We got to talk about something that is definitely Super Bowl level. I'm not wavering on this. That offense, man. Teams, regardless of what they think that they can do with Aiden Hutchinson missing off our defense, hey, you know what? Take your best shot with this offense, because Jared Goff, J-Mo, Jahmyr Gibbs, D-Mont, the new beast mode. Goodness gracious. Tim Patrick. You can go down the list, man.
You can go.
The offensive line. 47 points in Jerry's world, and to me, I feel like it could have even been more.
Oh, it could have been more. And I saw this in the chat as well. I believe it was from Cody Ingle, that one of the best ways to offset a loss of Aiden Hutchinson is to just score 40 points every game.
Yeah, of course.
I will say this. I'm not saying that they're going to go for 40 every game. However, did you guys know that the Lions are now the #1 scoring offense in the NFL?
Ooh.
And that's after
flex on him, Ben Johnson.
And that's after struggling the first 3 games. But that's what happens when you put up a 40-piece in back-to-back games. I mean, think about this. I know the Cowboys were a little depleted. I know they didn't have Deron Bland or Micah Parsons or Eric Kendrick or DeMarcus Lawrence. But that's the time to pounce on the wounded dog and put him down.
Yep.
And that's what the Lions did. They played an almost flawless offensive game. I mean, just listen to these numbers. Jared Goff had a rating of over 150, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 12.6 yards per attempt. The Lions, as I forecasted, rushed for over 150 yards, 184 to be exact, on 5.1 yards per carry on 2 touchdowns. And one thing that KG alluded to in the beginning, the amount of the distribution of the passes, I mean, everybody got involved on the fun. I mean, Jamison Williams had another day where he just made a huge play. He now has 23 yards per catch this season.
He had another huge day, moving you closer towards
moving me
that
very
J-Mo
close
jersey.
to that jersey. And
you're going to buy that before the playoffs.
And just remember, guys, I never wavered in my faith. Just remember, I never.
Never.
Yep. Just forget video evidence. That don't exist.
Yeah, forget video. Forget that thing called video evidence.
What week does it seem like you're going to wind up buying that jersey?
I said 17 at one point. I'm going to go 15.
Ooh.
Because
I like it.
He manages to get a lot of his yards damn near every week in just one play. And as I said before, he's averaging 23 yards per catch. We got Khalif Raymond, who had more than double his season yards in yesterday's game. We had Tim Patrick making us forget about Josh Reynolds, having 68 yards, including the first catch of the game on that 45-yarder on a play in which he was interfered with, and he still came down with the catch.
Made the catch.
And, of course, you had Sam Laporta making the biggest play of his season so far, getting back to making the plays and putting up the numbers, even though it was just one catch that we saw last year when he validated himself as one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown did his thing, caught another touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs had 3 catches for 26 yards. It's just, as Neil Rule always said, it's a how do you want it offense. And now we're seeing them with just a plethora of weapons because now we know Jamison Williams is that guy, and Tim Patrick has stepped up, and Sam Laporta had a big play, along with Amon-Ra, along with what they do on the run game. It's just not fair. It's the best offense in the National Football League.
Hey, Colin, you know what sums up this offense best? That you can talk about this offense and just be like, Amon-Ra scored another touchdown. Like, it's like, it's another Monday. Mm-hmm. That's what this offense is right now. That's what we expect. Even though we're struggling, you know, people, they didn't lose doubt or faith in what this offense could be. Everybody instantly went to, we know what the offense can be, but maybe they should have played in our preseason. Well, hey, you know what? They have a pretty good record right now. That offense is absolutely humming after maybe a couple games. If the offense was where it is right now, they'd be undefeated right now. And it would be a little less discourse about who the Vikings are and a lot more discourse about absolutely who these Detroit Lions are.
Yep.
I'm not worried about the Vikes like KG continues to say. Like, I'm not worried about the Woods. And in large parts, it's because of what this offense is starting to look like. And you know what? It's still not perfect. That's the crazy. Like, it's still room to grow with this offense.
Yes, it's not perfect, but it was close yesterday because the Lions, I didn't even mention this. They scored on their first 9 meaningful possessions. Ooh. 9. The Cowboys couldn't get a stop. And I get it. They were depleted, but that's the NFL. You have to just, like I said, put down the wounded dog when they're wounded, and that's what the Lions offense did. They showed no mercy. Shout out Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai. No mercy. No mercy, John Kreese style.
Hey, John Kreese.
They swept the leg. That's what they did. They swept the leg. JB?
I just want to add on to that as well. I believe at one point during the game, they had 0 punts. They had not punted at all during a certain portion of that game, and you're just impressed that every single drive they went out there and just scored somehow, some way.
I don't think they did punt. I think
it's that Sean Payton school that Dan Campbell went to.
Yeah. No, I don't think they did punt. If I remember correctly, their one drive in the first half, which they didn't score, they just need the ball. Yep. They did a kneel down, and then I think they did a turnover on downs after they already scored 47. I don't think Jack Fox was even seen in that game. And Jack Fox, speaking of weapons on this team, you know, all of a sudden talking about that offense makes me feel a little bit better. After the first segment, I was feeling a little bit down because I don't think there's a defense in the NFL that can stop this offense when they're on. And, oh, by the way, think about this too. 3 consecutive games Ben Johnson has called a trick play. And in all 3 games, it worked for a touchdown. You had the hook and ladder, you had the Amon-Ra throw to Jared Goff, and then you had that reverse pass to Sam Laporta.
This is what I like to hear.
It's unbelievable,
Look at
man.
Look at Frederico Paulo has now entered the chat because you know what? Aiden Hutchinson is a big loss, and my gut is still wrenching about it. But if you're telling me the Lions got to win shootouts, I trust this offense. Yes. I just do. Yep. I know there's people out there talking about the arm and all this. I'm going to tell y'all, continue to look at the season and just look at the results. He's going up against your favorite quarterbacks that you would rather, well, this guy might be able to do this here. This mobile quarterback can do this. Well, this guy's arm. Well, Goff is just beating them. That's just what's going on. That's what's happening, and he's doing it with impressive stats. The last 2-3 weeks, he's just continued to just do amazing things. Obviously, after the perfect game, he found a way to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Which was, it's perfect, man, to me. It's almost like poetic. You know, but if you want to get into shootouts with this offense, if Aiden Hutchinson winds up being something that really impacts his defense negatively, I got a lot of faith in what Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, David Montgomery, the paid man. I have a lot of faith in what this offense is doing.
I mean, how could you not have faith? And you mentioned David Montgomery, the guy that they just paid. I'm sure we're going to talk more about that.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys, money, but
well deserved.
He set the tone for the game. That first drive was a heavy dose of David Montgomery, and you saw him run it in from 16 yards out, in which the Cowboys did everything they could, even tugged at his jersey. You are not stopping that man. I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but David Montgomery runs like a rabid dog. He does. It's true though. He never goes down on first contact, and he always falls forward. I saw intern Chase mention Old Yeller.
He ain't Old Yeller. I promise that.
Hey, the Cowboys were Old Yeller.
I was about to say, and that's how he was treating them yesterday, man. David Montgomery. The new beast mode, man. That's
I said it yesterday.
It's amazing. I'm gonna call him beast mode.
Yeah, runs like Marshawn Lynch is probably a little bit more correct than a rabid. He runs like Marshawn Lynch.
There you go.
Runs like beast mode. Thank you guys.
Go. He's a more compact beast mode.
Yes. Talk about it, man. David Montgomery. I think he deserves all the flowers. And you know what? Signing that contract here, he took a bet on Detroit, and everybody knew he was underpaid when he got here. And when he said, you know what? From the outside looking in before, I didn't want to be anywhere near Detroit, and neither did other people.
Yeah.
But he said when Dan Campbell got here, when Sheila took over, he said that you could kind of feel the shockwaves. Like, there's something a little bit different over there. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on them. He took a little bit of a pay cut. He earned something. And in the middle of a season, this man got a pay increase, bro.
Yeah.
Like, locked in as well for the, I believe, the contract years that Jahmyr Gibbs has as well. And then he goes out there and just continues to do work. Hey, mind you, we saw some players get paid at the beginning of the season. And we don't know where those guys are to be found.
No, that's facts. And you just love how this team takes care of their own. It doesn't matter if you were in-house. It doesn't matter if you came from the outside. If you come in here, you embrace the culture, and you do what they want you to do, they will reward you. They will look out for you. So, I mean, Monty is well-deserved, man. And I was talking with Anson yesterday on the side, and I think Monty is the most important running back to this system. And this is no slight to Jahmyr Gibbs, like, at all. We all know Jahmyr Gibbs has game-breaking speed. His ability and his ceiling is absolutely through the roof. But there is no more integral part to this offense than David Montgomery. What he can do on the ground is just like, it changes the whole complexion of this offense. To have a guy that guaranteed like 4 to 5 yards each carry, and that he's not going to go down off first or even second contact, I think it goes understated how important Monty is to this program, man. I'm happy he's here, and I'm happy that we got him for another few years.
You know what? He's becoming much more of a red zone home run hitter than I ever gave him credit for. I'm not talking about within the 5 or the 10. I'm talking about lining up at the 20 or the 22 or the 17 and realizing if David Montgomery's back there, the Detroit Lions can actually get a score. And you know what? The real K77. I think the real K77 got this one right. This is the correct dog reference. He's Cujo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Facts.
Cujo, I don't know if Cujo would run as hard as David Montgomery, but yeah, no. The thing about David Montgomery and KG, to your point, is that the way that this offensive line blocks, the way that David Montgomery always falls forward, how often do you see him stop for no gain or a gain of 1 or a loss?
You don't.
Almost never. If you give him the ball, it's damn near a guaranteed 2nd and 6 at worst.
On the way to Hayes yesterday, man, I was listening to some of the first half and Dan on the flagship network for the Lions, and Dan Miller, the legend, the GOAT, shout out to him, the voice of the Lions. He was like, oh, man, he was talking about them getting into the backfield, the Dallas defense. So it looks like he's going to be stopped for, he falls forward for 2 yards. He was like he was going to be stopped behind the line. And he said, I know he's not going to get 5 yards credit for that. He's only going to get 2 beyond the line of scrimmage, but he literally made 5 yards happen on that play and avoided a loss and gave the Lions positive yardage. And it's like when you listen to the broadcast like that, when you're looking at the games, we all know it. We've all seen it. He does this routinely. He makes it look easy to the point that I'm like, we just bet on it? Because How consistent has he been?
At this point, you have to bet on it. And not to digress, but I got to read this from Freddie Felt 313.
Shout out.
We got to give Master Bates his flowers.
Yes.
That's big
4
facts.
for 4.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what,
Yes.
I know yesterday the game was never in question. I mean, I like to keep repeating this. The Lions won 47-9 at Jerry World, but there are going to be games that might come down to a Jake Bates field goal. And the more the season goes along, the more confidence you have in him that he will make the big kick when it is asked of him.
I feel like part of Dan Campbell was like, dang it, it's a blowout. I want to keep scoring, but we got to get Jake Bates some reps. Because some of those, I'm like, KG was somewhere like, yes.
You damn right.
Yes. But I feel like Dan Campbell, there had to be some type of confliction going on.
But no, we missed the Money Badger. No, the Money Badger wasn't that bad.
Talk about it.
I'm just saying, man. And like I said, it's no disrespect to the Money Badger. He was a solid kicker for us, but to have this kind of consistency from that kind of range and to know that you have a guy that is essentially 3 points in the bank, man, no matter where you line it up from, that changes everything for this Lions offense, especially with the new kicking rules. The Lions really only have to get a couple first downs, and they are in scoring range. So you can't understate that.
And we going to always, listen, the loss of Aiden Hutchinson is going to always be a reference point here. If you're going to lose Aiden Hutchinson, at least you got a weapon like Jack Fox who can flip the field.
Exactly.
They can put a defense and pin them back. At least you got an offense that you know now. Each and every defensive and offensive possession for the other team, because they're going to know Detroit's going to have to overcompensate. Ben Johnson's going to have to dig into his bag of tricks a little bit more. They have some things that they can do to discombobulate the other team as well. It's not just with the team, because if another team is going to come here like, yeah, now we can attack the defensive line this way. Okay, I hope you put in your thoughts and your focuses on the fact that we're going to roundhouse kick you with 35 points this week. Okay? I hope you put in your thoughts and your focuses on the fact that we're going to roundhouse kick you with 35 points this week.
You know what? Even if your defense is good, even if if you got all of your horses, I still trust the Lions offense to put up points against damn near anybody. They got all of the rust out of them in the first 3 weeks, and now they are just a well-oiled machine, man. Absolutely.
Got to talk about this defense. They did give up only 9 points.
That's pretty sweet.
This
was AG's best game so far.
Yes,
we got to talk
as a Lions
about it.
coordinator.
Wait, you know what? Hold it.
I got you.
Talk about it. Mr. Professional.
Oh, okay.
That's Black Hollywood.
Little tease.
Hey, man, look, you guys, we have Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. And what bills we got to pay, JB Smooth? We doubling up on anything?
We got Sabbath Coffee and Swiss, but once again, shout out to Trap House Sports for that Dak video.
Yes.
Hey, shout out. And Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Hey, listen, fuel your Detroit sports fandom. It's October in the D. We've had all of our sports teams active, and honestly, some of them playing in some very, very big moments. How do you keep up with all of this? Where do you get your energy? It's Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Make sure you use code Woodward to get 25% off your order. Awake and unwind with Sabbath Coffee Roasters while you're tapping in with Wake Up Woodward. And I got to tell you guys about Swiss Insurance. Listen, this is the protection agency of insurance companies. They're going to make sure that your current carrier, they're not slipping in anything extra at all.
Take that.
You see what I'm saying? Look, they got you covered. All you got to do, call our guy Mark. The number is on the screen, or you can visit them online, SwissINS.com. And listen, let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and his associates have got the plan for you. They will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs if you get yourself a home with Mark White. Mark White will get you right.
Mark White.
Oh, we back?
We're back.
Oh,
those are bars.
okay.
That was bar.
Yes.
I was sitting here like,
Yeah, I was waiting for the shooter.
How do we get him involved with Bar King now? Final, man. He sound like he can actually put them bars down, man.
He can. He just don't be trying, man. He got some flavor in that white body of his, man.
Oh, snap.
Damn.
We're live at Felwood Chevrolet of Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership. It is a Victory Monday. Little bit of a cloud over that with the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, but there is still a lot to like, man. KG said it before the break. He believes that this is KG's best game as a Lion, or just, I mean, gotta say ever, really.
Yeah.
Like, ever. Like Aaron Glenn, the game plan he had, the Cowboys looked confused. Everything they tried to do was as if, hey, I got you. Like I'm a parent of 4. Also got a new baby now. You know, as your kids get older, you can't really trick them like that. But right now, hide underneath the blanket, and I'm right there, though. You want to cross somewhere else? I'm right there, too. That was Aaron Glenn and his defense yesterday. They were treating the Cowboys like they were toddlers in a playpen. We got you covered everywhere. You want to try something? Be our guest. Nothing worked.
No, and the best part is this is the unit that there were some question marks about coming into the season. We knew that they were going to be better, at least on paper, but we needed to see it on the field. And so far throughout the whole season, this defense has stepped up and played great. Absolutely. But this game, they absolutely dominated. 9 points? Are you kidding me? And think about this. We talked about the Cowboys' injuries. That was more to the defensive side of the ball. Dak played. CD played. Tyler Smith played. Zach Martin played. Jake Ferguson played.
Dak Berry played.
I mean, he played. Great point, JB. He might as well not have. They might as well have had Cooper Rush out there. But the point is that Dak Prescott, we all know that he's a good quarterback. He's a good regular season quarterback, and the Lions just made him look silly, even though he had his number one weapon there. His offensive line was there.
Oh, CeeDee Lamb went off for 200 yards?
No, he did not.
Oh, he didn't.
He did not.
He went off for 100 yards.
No, he did not.
Oh, really? Terrion Arnold was out there. He wasn't out there then.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
He was out there.
Oh, he was out there.
He was out there.
He got flagged.
No, he did not.
Wow. Way to go, Detroit Lions defense, secondary, stepping up in a big way. We saw how this team got challenged and got pressed last year. And honestly, Aaron Glenn had to take this bend but don't break mentality, which allowed these wide receivers to run up amok. And teams that I believe that the Detroit Lions could and should have put away after we looked in hindsight just start to realize they just couldn't because they didn't either have the perfect mix of personnel plus scheme. But as you said, KG, AG, you believe coached his best game ever, especially in the Lions.
It's hard, you can't really argue it. And if you want to reference, go back to last year when we played the Cowboys. Sam, CeeDee Lamb went off for how many yards?
227.
Woo! In this game, he didn't even touch 100. So that just shows you right there. And I just love what they did the whole game. All right, pre-Hutch going down, they were in Dak's face constantly. And we know they couldn't run the ball, going into the game. But Dak and CeeDee Lamb is still one of the best QB wide receiver combos in the league. And they completely nullified that. There was nothing that they could do to really supplement any kind of rhythm on offense. And you saw Aleem McNeil making plays. You saw Kyle Pecco out there making plays. Even after Hutch went down, you saw Brian Branch getting pressure. Like, AG schemed this thing up so well, and the secondary was in perfect position. You saw 3 interceptions yesterday, 1 for Kirby Joseph, 2 for Brian Branch. Like, everything came together for this Lions defense, and this is what I've been talking about. They just needed rhythm. They needed time to grow, and now you're starting to see that this Lions defense is flourishing now, and they're only going to get better as the year goes along. You hope that they, don't incur any more major injuries, but so far so good from this Lions defense, who they've been pretty good most of the year. Can we agree with that? Their only real blemish is the Seahawks game.
No, and even in that game, they did enough to win. It wasn't
Absolutely.
perfect, but in this game, I mean, they absolutely dominated. If you want to hear some more numbers to get you guys feeling bricked up on a Monday morning,
don't clip that.
The Lions
clipped.
Guys,
Clip it. It's a victory Monday.
we talk about dominance. We talk about 47 points to the Cowboys 9. We talk about going into Jerry World and winning by 38. The Lions won the turnover battle 5-0. They forced 5 turnovers.
Hey, you know what? We keep talking about TA. You know what? You tried to force the turnover, the fumble, but you did get a takeaway. I will count that as a rookie. He got the takeaway. He at least scooped the fumble recovery.
Of course. Somebody's got to fall in it. Of
Right.
course. Absolutely.
It could have easily went out of bounds.
Forced.
5 turnovers. 5. But it's not just that. The Lions allowed Cowboy quarterbacks, whether it was Dak Prescott or Cooper Rush, to 4.1 yards per attempt. They sacked Dak Prescott 4 times. They hit Dak Prescott 11 times. And you know what the Cowboys were combined on 3rd and 4th down? 4 of 17. If you allow your opponent 4 of 17 on 3rd and 4th down combined and turn them over 5 times, are you kidding me? That's how you win 47-9. That's how you do it. It was just a snap-to-snap dominating performance by both the offense, and now we're talking about the defense, and it was just, other than the Aiden Hutchinson injury, it was the most complete game I've ever seen a Lions team play in my life.
Yeah.
My life.
We saw it working the way it was supposed to. Aleem getting after the quarterback.
Yes.
Hutch getting after the quarterback. The secondary just playing and looking good. Aside from probably just a ticky-tack or a bad holding call on Jack Campbell, I thought largely those linebackers were all over the field, man. Like it was, and Brian Branch, Kirby, like
It was everywhere.
I could just keep naming names, bro. That's the crazy part. Then they went to the bench. I can start naming names there too.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow.
Trevor Nowaski, where did he come from? I mean, and it's just great. And then during the game, you saw Dan Campbell go over there and kind of celebrate with AG. AG was smiling, man. And you realize that they finally have everything they need on this defense. We've been saying, this was going to be a big year for AG. AG has a lot to prove with all of this talent that we finally have assembled for him. And so far, so good. The early return says that he was missing the talent the whole time. It wasn't an AG problem. They just needed the personnel.
That was the question last year. We were wondering. You're right on that one.
Yeah.
He's completely validated that. I think right now we can safely say that it was the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. And speaking of things, things to get you bricked up on a Monday morning, Kirby Joseph with his 4th end zone interception of the season.
Nuts.
That is literally taking 24 points directly off the board.
Have y'all seen the top 5 players in interceptions? 4 of them are from the NFC North.
Yeah, he's still
Kirby's number 2.
Yes, Xavier McKinney is number 1, but hopefully hopefully Jordan Love helps later on in the season helps Kirby Joseph out with that, and Jared Goff doesn't throw into Xavier McKinney, because I'll tell you what, Xavier McKinney, I've got a ton of respect for him. I think right now he's still the better player, but it wouldn't shock me at all if Kirby Joseph ends the season with more picks than him.
Who is Kirby Joseph? Because early in the season, when the social team teased he's elite, some people said, yeah, and you're going to get the Honolulu Blue. But then there were some people who pushed back as well. Another week, another interception. And it was cool, too, because he teased his own, return. Like, when the official report came out, y'all know me. I love Batman. He put out the Ben Affleck, the Batfleck, Batman signal. You don't do that and not perform. But he's one of those guys that keeps performing. Like, go back to the offseason. I keep talking about the swag that this team has that makes me encouraged that they can overcome such a great loss like this. Remember when they were holding up the team logos and he got to the Rams and he looked like – remember the chirping he was doing in the offseason? Like, I got something for them. Tell me which check he's written that Kirby Joseph has not cashed.
That's a fact.
There are no checks. And you know what? I'm just going to go out and say it. I don't even care. Through 5 games.
Say it.
Through 5 games, Kirby Joseph's Ed Reed.
Through
Through 5 games,
higher.
Through 5 games, Kirby Joseph is Ed Reed. Dead serious. Am I saying he's going to become Ed Reed throughout his career? Am I even saying that he's going to be have an Ed Reed season? Not necessarily, but I wouldn't count it against him, at least for 1 year. But right now, Kirby Joseph is Ed Reed. He has 4 interceptions. He's basically allowing nothing when targeted. It's just blanket coverage, great against the run, and intercepting a ball in the end zone damn near every game. He's been unbelievable. He would be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year if it were given out right now.
That's facts.
Can't argue it.
The real K77, Sam is on fire.
I mean, I'm only saying the Lions are on fire, which makes it easy for me. All I have to do is say what's going on in the games.
That make it easy.
I mean, and other than what happened to Aiden Hutchinson, which is big, everything about yesterday's game was fire. I mean, I repeat, the Lions gave up 9 points to a healthy Cowboys offense.
And put up 47.
Rolled in their home, bro. Like, we understand just how crazy it's been. But now we can officially start to really call this team narrative busters. Yes. And I'm hoping that the biggest narrative they bust is that Super Bowl one. And now they have to do it with the Strahan curse. Before the game, he said, Aiden, I want you to have that record. I'm like, guys, come on, man.
I know.
He saw the greatness that Aiden Hutchinson was. He saw exactly what he could be. And that's what that statement was about. And so it's going to always be a big loss. But, man, as we've continued to go through kind of these segments, I've just gotten bricked back up, man. Like, just go out there and handle business.
Well, and that's the thing. We're talking about – and, you know, some might have accused me of being a little bit too gloom and doom on the Aiden Hutchinson thing. And to be fair, he is my favorite player, but I also saw the impact that he made on this defense. However, if you want to – I wouldn't say neutralize it, but make it so that it's not as bad as maybe we fear – Kirby Joseph is having an all-pro season. Brian Branch is having an all-pro season. You see that Terrion Arnold and Amik Robertson and Carlton Davis are a huge upgrade from the cornerback position to what the Lions had last year. So they have Ali McNeil and DJ Reader are there. Levi's there. So they've got a lot of great players on this defense still. So maybe everybody takes it up to even another level because we've already seen it throughout the season. Kirby Joseph, this is the best he's ever played. Brian Branch, even though he was great last year, has taken a leap. Levi Onwuzurike, Ali McNeil had 2 sacks, playing his best game of the season so far. So I'm not saying that the Lions shouldn't make a move to replace or at least try to replace Aiden Hutchinson, but they've got a lot still.
This therapy has been helpful this
morning.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if they do replace Hutch with somebody, this defense can still be – I mean, they're top 10 in scoring defense right now.
Yep.
Something that some thought that they could be, but I wasn't so sure. But we all said that if they were, Super Bowl, 100%.
Yep. What up, though, JB Smooth?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you guys, I think the Cowboys need some therapy as well, too, because I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Jordan Lewis and Amon-Ra St. Brown are still going at it.
Oh, my God. Let it go.
As Jordan Lewis slid into Amon-Ra's DMs yesterday and basically just, last night and kind of just called him a bitch for posting that video in the locker room once again. So Cowboys need some therapy this morning as well, too, so.
It's over for them, man.
Jordan Lewis, man. Yeah. Shout out to Jordan Lewis.
They not even making the playoffs.
No, they're not.
On-time guy.
They're not. They're not. As I said before, the Lions did that to a healthy Cowboys offense. And if you're a Cowboys fan, of course you can cope a little bit and say Micah's out, DeMarcus Lawrence is out, we might get them back, we might get Deron Bland back. But if I'm a Cowboys fan,
it wasn't making a difference yesterday.
It certainly wasn't making a difference yesterday. But if I'm a Cowboy fan and I'm looking at the way that offense played, I'm mortified.
Yeah.
And you just hate to see it. Just hate to see it.
With a big old flannel grin.
Yes.
You don't.
I'm sorry. Federico Polo.
Yes. Beautiful. JB, where are we going?
Let's ride.
We have Soroki's. Yep.
Soroki's crispy chicken.
Got some leftovers today.
Oh, yes, and we had a lot at the Tigers watch party. I almost had to be wheeled out of the damn studio, but it was well worth it because they got the best chicken, pizza, biscuits. They got potato wedges. They've got wings. It's just a great place to stop by if you want to get yourself some lunch, if you want to buy your family a nice, filling, and cost-effective dinner. Go to Soroki's, support one of our new sponsors, and enjoy some great tasting food. And you can also order from their website at sorokis.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
The Boys and Girls Club 3C Sports League. They got football leagues in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. You can go to their website on the screen and you can sign up for just $175 per child. And if your son's team makes the championship, they get to play at Ford Field. Maybe some future Lions in that group getting their start at a young age. It is a great organization. So give your kids some structure, some. If they need it, and get them into sports. So bgcsm.org.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. Shout out to Stick.
I can't improv that well. Get off my back.
Stick is killing me, dog. Hey, it's Wake Up Woodward. It is a Victory Monday. It's been a therapy Monday as well. It's weird because you generally don't need those on a Monday.
No, you don't.
But we've gotten, just throughout the show, pause in advance, continuously more bricked up as we've talked about the other components of this Detroit Lions team and what they've been doing so well. We are live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealership. And you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong here, and including you too, chat family. I know that you guys will hold us honest all the time, but teams that win championships, they have to overcome adversity on the way as well.
Yep.
So this Detroit Lions team, I do believe that they have the identity to overcome something like this. This is going to be their biggest adversity, in my opinion, because I believe from a talent standpoint, they were one of the best teams in NFL, and now you have your adversity. You have to overcome this loss. And when you look at yesterday, in particular, you saw some guys, and we talked about it, it's going to be internal. We're going to need to see some guys take that next step. Brian Branch looked great yesterday. Great. Not good, not okay.
Elite.
Not okay, this is what we thought. KG said it, elite, man.
Elite. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the one game where the Lions defense, particularly their pass defense, looked a little bit shaky, and hell, their run defense as well looked a little bit shaky, was the game that Brian Branch missed. Welcome back to the lineup, Brian Branch. Welcome back. And
I know you like that.
Absolutely. 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, and remember when I was teasing something at the beginning? I kind of already, I sort of blew my proverbial load when it came to Kirby Joseph, when I was talking about him being Ed Reed.
Yeah,
because Brian
Branch is really Ed Reed.
I'll tell you what, though. To me, if Kirby is Ed Reed, then Brian Branch is Troy Polamalu, because they are playing like the best safety duo in the NFL right now.
I was going to say, I saw somebody, they made a mention earlier. Apologies, because I don't remember who said it, but they were making mention that they believe that the Detroit Lions are a top 3 safety tandem.
I can't think of one that's better right now. Certainly one that's playing better right now. And they both have all the talent in the world. And Brian Branch, we know, is only getting better. And that's when I was talking about maybe helping to neutralize an Aiden Hutchinson injury. Brian Branch is going to have to play like a superstar, and he did yesterday. And let's talk about that first interception. I know when the Cowboys got a field goal and the Lions went down and scored, and it looked like the Cowboys were going to come back and score, I was thinking, all right, we might have ourselves a shootout. However, Brian Branch, with the way that he baited CeeDee Lamb to throw to what he thought was an open CeeDee Lamb, and he's just
step in and then a quick like that shuffle back for that interception. Dog.
It was absolutely beautiful, and that basically set the whole tone for the game. That demoralized the Cowboys. When you turn the ball over in the red zone, you're feeling pretty bad about yourself. And given the fact that they couldn't stop the Lions as well, it was game over from that. And Brian Branch got it all started. It was absolutely beautiful. And like I said, he played the game yesterday like how I saw Troy Polamalu used to play, like how I saw Ed Reed play. And again, I'm not saying that Brian Branch is Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu yet. I'm not saying that Kirby Joseph is either.
You're paying homage to what these guys are doing right now. We're in the moment right now, and sometimes you can call your shot, and sometimes you can compare it to what it is. And yes, if they're going out there and they're performing this way, then they're giving us the license and the opportunity to say, you know what, this is what it looks like. Because I dare anybody to tell me in a vacuum, how is it not looking like that right now? Well, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, they're like freaks right now, bro. Just absolute wild, insane animals, and they're going out there calling their shot and just doing what we believe they can do at their best. And they're doing that right now.
Yes, and if it were just a flash in the pan type of thing, I would never say something reckless like that. But Brian Branch, we talked about him last year having
the truth.
Having a
Facts,
I would say Rookie of the Year caliber season. He didn't win it, but he certainly deserves some consideration. I think last year he was the clear second best player on the defense after Aiden Hutchinson. And we talk about what he's done early this year and what he did yesterday. He looks to have taken that leap to becoming a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro. When we talk about Kirby Joseph, we're talking about a guy who has 4 end zone interceptions in 5 games, and his passer rating allowed when targeted is in the single digits.
You know what?
That's insane. Does anybody realize how insane that is?
When you couple that with not just interceptions, end zone interceptions.
Yes.
We talked about this team being a bend but don't break defense last year. Now they're just taking it away from you when you're in the red zone. He's responsible, bro. He's responsible through week 6 for taking away 4 offensive red zone possessions, dog.
It's unbelievable.
That's crazy to me when you put it that way. I'm just like, wait. Now what do offenses do when they get down into the red zone?
Well, yeah, and then he's got 4. Now Brian Branch has 1.
Maybe it was the jerseys. That's what the Rams cried about. It was the blue jerseys up against the blue back. Well, he just did it on the road.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, when you talk about Kirby Joseph having 4, when you talk about Brian Branch having 1 yesterday, as I could have alluded to before, that's taking 30 points directly off the board and then giving yourself possession and giving the ball back to this offense, which we know is elite and has certainly played like it for the past couple of games. But Brian Branch, before the season, I didn't foresee the leap that Kirby Joseph had taken, but hey, glad to be wrong. Brian Branch was always the one that I thought this guy could be the All-Pro. This guy could be the Pro Bowler. This guy could be the gold jacket wearer someday. And you know what? In his second season, he has validated that. And this is one of the best games. Yesterday was one of the best games I've ever seen the Detroit Lions defensive back play.
Wow. And you know what? That's what I'm saying. In these vacuums, that's what we have to state. And you're not saying, you know what, I don't need to see anything else. We want the consistency out of them, just like we know Dan Campbell and the rest of this organization not only wants, but their entire system is designed to get that. It might not happen at the paces we want. It might not even be with the personnel that we desire. But just like last year, we saw when Brad Holmes stepped to the podium after the trade deadline and said, listen, guys, we believe we got enough to make a run. And we believe, oh, man, now you might just have best win one game and be done. Well, he showed us. And that's what I've come to expect of this Lions team, that I know wherever my panic level is, those guys are so much more above that already, and they probably already have plan 1, 2, 3, and 4. You don't come into a Super Bowl expected window believing we're not going to lose any of our big players. You don't do that. You have to already, from the beginning of the season, have certain plans mapped out, and that's what I've taken away from this organization, is that they have all bases covered. Even bringing in the coach before the GM and knowing that it's going to mesh, that type of stuff. It's like, you know what? They got the bases figured out. We've seen other organizations and teams in this city try those same types of things, and it worked out horribly. The Lions right now have found a way to push every single right button, and to the point that the only thing that can slow them down is injuries. But I am grateful for the fact that a lot of these players in the secondary are very, very versatile with what they can do, either back in coverage, dropping down into the mid, or getting into certain blitz packages to try and stunt these runs and get after the quarterback a little bit more.
Yep, and Brian Branch, we cannot forget this as well. When he wants to, when he's called upon to do it, he can also limit your favorite team's best slot guy. He can do that as well. He's a very he lays the boom as well.
You can say it. He lays the wood.
He lays the wood. Yeah, laying the boom makes me sound like I'm one of those idiot Costco guys or whatever. He lays the wood.
We lay the boom.
Spoken by Big Musket.
Yes, but,
Big Musket.
Hey, they lays the boom like I do. But
let's go, man.
I gotta say
bang,
this.
bang. Right in the kisser.
Bang, bang.
Michael Dunlap in the chat. 2 interceptions, Flannel. Yes, Brian Branch did have 2.
That's right.
Yep.
But
almost a pick 6.
I was referring to the end zone interceptions. Brian Branch had one of those as well as Kirby Joseph. But, yeah, that's that one that he almost took back to the house. I thought he was going to get a pick 6. I would have loved to see it, but you know what? It's all well and good. That man was just on a level.
Man,
on a
got
level.
me tracking. I'm going to be tracking their red zone turnovers.
Oh, yes.
I definitely, because this is becoming a trend now.
Yes, speaking of red zone, the Cowboys made the red zone 3 times and scored 3 points. More numbers. More numbers get you excited on a
1
Monday.
point per red zone trip?
Yeah.
Is that bad?
That's insane.
It's nuts.
God, what
Lions 3 for 5 in the red zone. 26 first downs.
We got to talk about somebody else, man. 1-6, Mr. Jared Goff.
Yep.
Shout out to Kristen Goff. She updated the handle on IG.
Shut up.
Used to say Kristen Harper. Now it's Kristen Goff. She had the Lions gear on. She was like, I'm locked in. Shout out to her, man. We gotta give Jared Goff his flowers too. Another beautiful game for him, man. Another beautiful game.
They
Where
sleep.
we going, JB, before we talk about Mr. Jared Goff?
We got the watch party and post game.
Hey, you know what? Watch party was lit, man. New Holland Brewing Company watch party and post game show live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township. Why? Because we want to interact with you all. And it was cool to honestly interact with a couple of the chat family yesterday. People that we had just kind of run into with boots on the ground. There was one person, I met him at a Pistons event, at a sponsor event, bro. And he was like, hey, man, I remember you told me about it. I'm here. So it was dope to be able to have those environments, those interactions, that atmosphere with the Detroit Lions faithful. It was a great time, and we want you guys out there. The heavyweights kick things off with the watch party, followed by Stick and Anson with the post-game show and other Woodward Sports personalities. We want to see you guys down there. Come eat, drink, have a fun time at Woodward Sports, your #1 digital sports network. If you guys want to tap in online as well, this is all brought to you by Sabbath Coffee, New Holland Brewing Company,
1800.
1800 Tequila, Soroki's, man. I think I already said Sabbath Coffee, but you guys get
New
it,
Holland.
man. And it's a great time every single time. We want to see you guys out.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
1800 Tequila, the smoothest and best tasting tequila, and what the watch parties and post game are brought to you by.
Yeah.
And you know what? I love it so much that I even took a shot on air with Justin, Justin and Neil Rule. And you know what? Don't let my pain face deceive you. It is still the smoothest tasting tequila. I'm just kind of a bit of a softie when it comes to hard liquor. That's all it is. So, but it's great. It's smooth. And you should try some as well and support Woodward Sports. That is 1800 tequila.
Howdy! I know you saw what happened today, huh? Not a victory, not just a victory, but a blowout on Jerry's birthday, by the way. No, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. My buddy Jerry Jones on his 82nd birthday should deserve something like that. But we'll address that another day. All I can say is, what an ass whipping! What an ass whipping! Awful lot to talk about on First Take tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw my line, okay? My boost for this week on ESPN Bets. Even that was right. Because we were talking about them Cowboys. They never, ever let me down.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. We are live at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. It is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. And I was chuckling throughout the whole thing. I see Stephen A. Obviously, the hairline is always something. My hairline is about there. And I know he's talking about the Cowboys, but it's the Lions who got him super bricked up for defeating the Cowboys. That in honor of Stephen A., maybe I'll start growing my hair out like that.
Oh,
and I have a Stephen A. show one week.
Nah, just keep it like it is, Kool-Aid. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
So just stay with the Brad Holmes?
Yeah.
Yes.
It fits you.
See, make sure you guys have good friends like I got here at this WUW Crew, man. They'll make sure that you guys don't do anything or make any bad decisions. Hey, and you know what? You know who's probably a good friend to have around? Jared Goff.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing great
Jay
things
Jizzle.
right now, man. Talk about hitting your stride. Talking about not really caring about if there's any noise on the outside. There should be no noise about Jared Goff. But if there is, none of it matters to him right now. You talk about this swag, this identity I'm seeing from the coaches, that I'm seeing from Brad Holmes, that we're seeing from the players, we see from Sheila, like, oh, man, Jerry's role is going to look nice underneath my portfolio. Jared Goff, man, is a guy who just embodies that. And it went up a notch. After there was rumors that they were going to re-sign him, and we remember the infamous kind of, I'm going to be here for a long time. After that, he's just been on one, like a whole different level even than where he was prior. And I do believe that the work he's put in and everything that Ben Johnson has done to put him in his best position and his offensive line, Jared Goff, man, he's having a magnificent season. And I do believe that he's one of those keys to trying to overcome a loss like Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, most certainly. It's amazing that the Lions can have such a win that they did, and we don't even get to Jared Goff for the first hour and a half. And it's not an insult on him. It's because there's just so much to talk about because this team is so great. But, yeah, Jared Goff, I remember at the beginning of the season, there were some concerns with both him and the offense because they didn't look quite right. But it was, I think, to some chalked up as everything will be fine. They'll figure it out. And boy, have they. 2 consecutive weeks of leading his team to 40-plus points. 2 consecutive weeks for Jared Goff of having a passer rating over 150, which is insane, by the way. That's a damn near perfect. And it actually has upped his season rating to over 100 at about 105, which is which I believe is 5th in the NFL. And you saw it yesterday. You saw him make the short throws, the intermediate ones, the deep ball to Tim Patrick, the down-the-field ball to Laporta, the deep ball to J-Mo. It just looked like he was hitting his receivers in stride. He's playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yeah, and the key number that you didn't mention, back-to-back weeks of no interceptions.
Yes.
And that is the big thing with Jared Goff. We wanted him to limit those turnovers. And he's done that, man. He is becoming more and more efficient as the weeks go on. He was 18 of 25 in this game. And if you want to go back to last week, of course, the perfect game, 18 of 18, almost 300 yards. And even if you want to go back to the Arizona game, he was 16 of 16 before missing his first pass in that game in the third quarter. So Jared Goff is doing the damn thing right now. And us as Detroit fans, we need to just be happy with Jared Goff and what we have here because he's perfect for this system. system, you don't need him to be Superman. You know, I know we get caught up in that a lot, and, he's not as athletic as I would want him to be, and he doesn't throw the prettiest deep ball. It doesn't matter, man. Jared Goff and what he brings to this offense is perfect for what they're trying to do. They have everything that they need around him, and he just continues to go out there and elevate his game and prove to you that he is one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Yes, he may not be top 1, 2, or 3, but having him out of a top 10 at this point in his career is blasphemous.
Yep, and because we have production that we can go on more than anything. We can look back and see when you put Jared Goff in the mix, what is your team going to be? And we see exactly what these Detroit Lions are. We saw exactly what the Rams were too, and I do believe that they pulled the plug a little prematurely on a Jared Goff, or maybe to that point he wasn't ready for that moment at that point. But we see exactly what he is right now. To what you were stating, this elevation aspect, we already saw Jared Goff elevate this team beyond this defensive woes, its defensive lack. Last season, when you talk about him playing a clean football, he had a large stretch, and then he had a stretch where it was like boom, 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 boom. And then as we got towards the end of the season, what do we see? Clean football. And what we were able to overcome to large degrees? Jerry Jacobs and Kendall Vildor playing starters roles down the stretch and into the playoffs. GJ was able to get back. Wasn't necessarily like he was all the way back, the guy that we were expecting to get. And clean football from Jared Goff gave this team such an advantage because at least you know your offense is going to do what it has to do to get things done in this game. And I do believe that is something that is very, very underrated. Jared Goff playing clean football, it can have a lot to do with helping us with this Aiden Hutchinson loss.
Oh, yeah, it's essential to everything. And the reality is Jared Goff plays clean football a lot more often than he doesn't. You can point to a couple of stretches last year. You can point to the beginning of this season. But for the most part, Jared Goff has been for sure, top 10 quarterback in the NFL ever since 2022, or at least since like week 7 or 8 of 2022. And we talked about before the season, or at least I talked about how Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the deadliest combinations in the NFL. And if you want to add Ben Johnson to the mix, which you should, it's absolutely lethal. But now you're seeing the chemistry develop with Jamison Williams. Now you're seeing him throw the ball to Tim Patrick and to Khalif Raymond and hit Sam Laporta on a long touchdown as well.
Putting the ball on the money down the field, too.
So it looks like this is the offense that I think we all envision where everybody gets to eat. They've got weapons. I mean, Tim Patrick, we forget. He had some really bad injuries that cost him 2022 and 2023, but back in 2021 and 2020, he was a 700-yard receiver. He was a 700-yard receiving yard guy.
So you mean to tell me that Brad and Cole pushed the right button?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I say earlier, that Tim Patrick, if he keeps playing like that, if Jared Goff trusts him with deep balls and all the other times he threw to him as well, we're going to forget about Josh Reynolds. We were talking about Josh Reynolds the first 3 weeks as, oh, man, maybe he was the key to everything. Maybe we were being a little hyperbolic about it.
We haven't talked about Reynolds the last 3 weeks.
We haven't. And with all due respect to him, Tim Patrick is a guy that is more talented, is better, did reach higher heights. You just needed to see him come back from injury and develop that chemistry with Jared Goff. And you saw it. You saw it this week, and I think you're going to see it with all the receivers more as the weeks go on, because Jared Goff, he's a smart quarterback. He knows the system, and he's going to put the ball in the hands of his playmakers if they get open. That's what he does.
And real quick, shout out to Demon Dice, known Chicago Bears fan in our chat.
Please say what I think you're about to say.
Yeah, he was kind of going back at me, man, when I said that you don't need Goff to be Superman. He said you don't need Goff to be Superman. Lions paid him to be like Superman, KG. And I respectfully disagree. It's not even close, man. And case in point, look at the 49ers. They're going to have to pay Brock Purdy. Is Brock Purdy Superman for the 49ers? No, or does he come in and do his job?
Just does his job.
Thank you. Like, they did not pay Jared Goff to be Superman, but however, he is a top 10 quarterback in this league, and the market commanded that he got what he got paid. But if you look at where the contract is now, it's not even close to the pantheon of high contracts in the NFL for quarterbacks. And, you know, yeah, you don't need him to be Superman, but what he does provide is one of the longest streaks without an interception in the league. The only player to go 18 for 18 and have almost 300 yards. Like, he is everything that this Lions offense needs, so that's why they paid him. They paid him because he came in here and he got 2 playoff wins quicker than Matt Stafford did in 12 years. That's why they paid him. So, yes, he doesn't need to be Superman, but they paid him because he is the man on this Lions team that runs everything. I don't think we realize how much control of this offense Jared Goff has. Yes, Ben Johnson calls the plays, but Jared Goff is the one in control on the field. He's doing the checks. He's doing everything.
Yeah, they wanted to look a certain way, and it's like, just look at the results. Look at the wins. Look at the stats. Look at the passer ratings. Look at the clean football. Look at the effect he has when he does play clean football. And Demon Dust, I see him here. Lions put up numbers against 2 teams missing their best pass rushers. Listen, do you understand that the Detroit Lions, I believe, are the only team, I want to say ever, that have 2 running backs with 70-plus yards from scrimmage through the first 6 seasons? I think the previous was 4 games. They did it for 4 games. The Lions are doing this thing now for 6 games. Like, what are we talking about? You can have anybody you want out there. You're going to have to find a way, like Flannel has already eloquently stated, to cover a whole lot. And some of the stuff was questions. We didn't know necessarily, could this tandem in the backfield do something like that where they can both be challenging for yardage that we thought, well, no, there's too many mouths to feed. Well, they're just eating all of it. That's the whole point here with this offense. Bring your pass rusher. Unless they're the first 5 weeks of Aiden Hutchinson, I don't care.
Yeah.
Bring them. Bring them to the table. Strap up your shoes. We're going to boat race you, period. That's what this Lions offense is going to do.
And injuries happen. We don't make the schedule. So you can keep using that as an excuse. We only can play who we're scheduled to play. But, hey, the Lions have performed, and that's what the most important key is.
He enrolled how many trick plays, and how many trick plays, they almost always go for either a touchdown or 30 yards. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, no.
And I don't know, man.
And to like what Demon Dice said earlier and to what you responded to, KG, when you look at guys like Jared Goff, when you look at a Brock Purdy, you can even throw, I don't know, like regular season Kirk Cousins, and then even prior to this year, regular season Dak Prescott into the mix. None of them are what you would call Superman-type quarterbacks, but they all run their system effectively. And when you look at the end-of-the-season numbers, you're going to see Brock Purdy near the top. You're going to see Jared Goff near the top. You're going to see, like, a Kirk Cousins near the top, for example, because they do what's asked of them. Yes, in the case of Jared Goff, he's got a great offensive mind. He's got a great O-line, great running backs, and all of that. But he knows how to run the system. He knows how to make the best decisions and put his receivers in position to where they're open, they're going to get the ball, and they're going to get the ball in stride, and they're going to be able to run after the catch.
That timing has got so much better from the beginning of the season when we were looking at the windows, some of the players he was missing, and when he was getting them, it seemed like the timing of the routes were just off. Those things you're talking about, and what did Dan Campbell say? We'll be good week 6.
Yeah.
He stated that.
He gave you a realistic timeline.
Shot at that point in time, when everyone thinks that the Dallas Cowboys have these great expectations, oh, yeah, week 6. That's almost like, yo, this team was starting on the Cowboys a long time ago. He said it'll take 5 or 6 weeks to figure this thing out, but we're going to get there.
Because they know where this offense needs to be. And it was always going to be that. You could tell that it was just timing issues what the Lions were going through. You can tell that because they didn't play preseason that, they needed some catching up to do. But they have flourished ever since, man. And I think this is the beginning of the offense really taking over, the NFC.
And it's about them being good more often than they're not. No team, no matter how good they are, you can look at the 2013 Broncos, the greatest show on turf, all of the 07 Patriots. Nope. Well, the 07 Patriots were undefeated, but let's throw them out of the mix.
Not in the Super Bowl. But.
That's fair. You're never going to have a start-to-finish perfect offensive team. You're going to have some lumps. And in the case of the Detroit Lions, they just looked a little bit rusty at the beginning. They were maybe feeling the effects of no Josh Reynolds, no real X at the beginning because Tim Patrick wasn't there. Maybe they were trying to force-feed J-Mo a little bit too much, even though I'm not blaming J-Mo for that. It's just they're trying to figure things out. As long as they figure out when they have, which in this case was week 4, they've got a whole rest of the season to be one of the most dominant offense in the NFL, and I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it. They're number 1 in scoring right now in all of the National Football League.
Denver Blair, after this therapy session, I feel you, but I know you're one of our regulars, so I know you mean this from the heart. He said, this doesn't feel like a victory. We won the war but lost the battle. Listen, man, this Detroit Lions team, I think they got what they need. Steve Wilds, I like this. Do all the trick plays versus Minnesota. Act like you are winless and beat there. He spaced this out, so I'll read it as typed. A S space S. That's where it's at right now, and I do. There was at one point in the season where I was just like, man, I think the Vikings are going to be something, and they've kind of gotten there, but something compared to the Lions this week right now, even with the loss of Hutchs, I'm just like, beat they tails.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's where I'm at with that one.
Oh yeah, if the Lions win on Sunday against the Vikings, we can I don't want to say put the Vikings to bed because a 5-1 team is still impressive, but then they would already have a loss against the Lions on their schedule, and then they'd have to go to Ford Field. I think there's a lot of people predicting that the Vikings' water will find its level a little bit, and hopefully the Lions can help them do that. I respect what the Vikings have done. I see them as formidable. I see it as a unique challenge without Aiden Hutchinson, but I don't think anybody, at least on this show or really even on this network, will pick the Lions to lose. We have faith that they're still going to win.
You're not scared of anybody in the NFC, period. And after this,
NFC.
Yeah, in the NFC, period.
Not even
who are you?
The whole.
Who can't the Lions beat in the NFC?
Talk to me.
I mean, just being real, man. And when they go against the Vikings this Sunday and they win, that will solidify them as the best team in the NFC. Not just the North. I mean the whole damn conference.
Yes, and Denver Blair, I know you already responded to it. This doesn't feel like a victory. We won the war but lost the battle. I can't be mad at you for feeling that way.
Yeah.
And especially after how I was talking at the beginning, I am never, ever, 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 ever going to downplay the loss of Aiden Hutchinson. In fact, I still have questions about how easy the division is going to be or if the Lions are even going to win it. But I think that they're going to do what it takes. I think Brad Holmes is going to pick up the phone, and I think eventually they will be fine. Baby. Pick up the phone.
And there are players that are available, man. But you know what? We got mailbag segment on the way, so definitely get those mailbag questions in the chat. Because, hey, we want to be able to talk about it. Steve-O, baby, I see yours too. It's not necessarily a mailbag one, but I will save it for that segment. And it says what their defenses look like this year.
All right.
I think that the Lions have everything they need, but we'll talk about that.
Never scared.
We will talk about that. But, hey, listen, attention sports fans. Listen up, you guys. You got to stay tapped in to Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You can join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. You got to trust the guy, that 4-time Stanley Cup winner.
He's going to be on today, by the way.
Oh, and today.
Well, we had to bring him in for the
Oh,
so
snap.
He's going to be on 2 to 4 today, so promote that.
Dope. Yeah. He will be on today, 2 to 4 on Ermanni and Edwards, breaking down this Hutch injury. Obviously, from some reports, his family is saying if the Lions make the Super Bowl, he is working and planning to try and be there. But we also have to talk about what this means long term. And that, I'm telling you, Dr. Pierce, man, he's been right on these things this season. You want to tap in to get what he has to say about it today. Ermanni and Edwards, and always on Tuesday, Big D Energy. Thursday, Ermanni and Edwards. Tap in.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
coverage lives on Woodward Sports, driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
LaYUP and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Ever looking for a chance to volunteer, but you don't know where to start? The Salvation Army is the place for you. Just visit their website, registertoring.com, and you could register for a 2-hour shift. Be a bell ringer and help out the Salvation Army, because it is a great organization. It's a charitable, and you just love to see it. Or you could even sign up for a virtual shift. So no matter how you want to volunteer, there is a Salvation Army, and they run through Christmas, excluding Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. So Salvation Army, registertoring.com.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward chat family. Y'all are always on one, man. They got me cracking up already. The first mailbag question is going to be funny, but
yeah,
it is time for the Wake Up Woodward mailbag segment presented by
Feldman, yes.
Automotive.
Right.
Feldman.
Big shout out.
Yes, Feldman, where I got my car.
Yes, sir.
Myself and Matt Broder as well. Neil Rule recently got an EV from Feldman because
Snowflake.
it's got the best service. You can go to any of their great salesmen.
Talk about it.
Hey, I went to JP. Ryan Palter is here as well. You can go to Francis. It's
Hey,
just
Ryan.
Anybody that you want, they will get you in and out if you know what you are looking for in 3.5 hours, like myself. And it has been the dealer of the year from 2019 all the way through 2023. 5 consecutive years Chevrolet dealer of the year. And they're going to make it 6-peat in 2024 as well. They're going to have as many championships as the Jordan Bulls. So Feldman Chevrolet, come get yourself a car.
Let's go.
Shout out Demon Dice, man. He is my favorite Bears fan. The Bears are going to abuse the Lions without Aiden Hutchinson. And all I got to say to that is, please keep that same energy. When they lose, make sure you are in the chat just like you are now, bro.
Change his handle, put a Lions Avi on, and act like, oh, what's up? Go.
Or he'll just disappear. He'll just disappear. But Demon Dice, you are a known Chicago Bears fan. You always in the chat. We appreciate the view, but please come back here after the Lions play the Bears.
Absolutely.
Please.
You stand on business, but just remember there's a post-game show. Just stay tapped into that, too, as well, and bring that same energy as KG just said.
I better see you after that game. I better see you.
Just be accountable.
Yeah, he brought out an unprovoked. He brought out a JB Smooth. Like
right?
Hold on, I'm cutting in right now. You're serious now.
Like, I'm going to let you finish, but look, let me get this off real quick.
Because we going to see. That's the best part of it, part
Yes,
about
sir.
it all. So if the Lions go beat the Bears, just be in here and eat a little crow. That's all we ask, and I'll respect the hell out of you for it.
Hey, you know what? Mike G.
My dog. Shout out.
Mailbag. Can Stick now squash any Hutchinson hate at WSN by smacking said fool with a catfish?
Oh, my God.
Oh. Stick, can you oblige? No, he said
He's probably referring to Neil because Neil's been on. And Neil hasn't really hated on Hutch. It's been more so he just wanted to see more.
I think there was a little bit, but that's neither here nor there.
I don't think he was hating, man.
Hey, but let's get to this. Steve-O, baby. Minnesota is #1 in defense right now, and they have 17 sacks.
Yeah.
And that's it came up when we were discussing kind of the Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions. Does any of this stuff concern you guys as this is the next matchup for the Detroit Lions?
I mean, of course you have to have a healthy respect and a healthy mindfulness because if the Vikings do win, they, in theory, kind of take command of the NFC North. But I do think the Lions are a better team. The one thing that could swing it is Aiden Hutchinson being out and them only having 1 week for any sort of contingency plan, which probably isn't enough for a contingency plan. I'm going to pick the Lions to win, but it is going to be an absolute battle.
I'd be more worried if they didn't have Frank Ragnow. But now that Frank is back, they haven't faced the offensive line to this caliber. No. So I'm not really concerned. If it turns into a shootout, so be it. But the Lions have more than enough to win this game. Not trying to sleep on anything the Vikings have done. They've been great to this point, but they haven't faced a team like this. I mean, you can say the Texans, but the Texans came out real slow in that ball game. And if you pay attention to how the Vikings' second halves have gone the last few weeks, not so good. So we gonna see. We gonna see Sunday.
Hey, we're gonna see Big Dan Davis mailbag. Here's a name the Lions could trade for. Harold Landry of the Titans. He's played for Terrell Williams, the D-line coach of the Lions currently, and has back-to-back 10-sack seasons on his resume.
Ooh.
I'm not mad at it.
No, I would absolutely love to see it. Now, and this year he's got 4, and he's kind of playing, at least now, with Will Levis as their quarterback. Tennessee's NFL Siberia right now. They're going to want to bring Harold Landry home, let him work under Terrell Williams again, and let him be a part of a winning organization. I'm trying to look at his contract. AAV of $17.5 million. Make it happen. If that's what you can do, if that's what I'm talking to Brad Holmes, if that's what he deems is a adequate move, I wouldn't be mad at it. He's real good.
Yep.
Hey, Ed could tell us, Feldman mailbag, what happened to James Houston?
We don't know.
We still don't know.
He is Carmen Sandiego right now. We don't know where in the world he is.
Where's Waldo?
You could really use him right now. I'll just say that. Maybe the Lions don't like that he's just not an all-around player. And when he's had an opportunity to rush the passer this year, he's done bubkiss.
Yeah.
Not trying to be mean. It's just it's the NFL. You either are going to be a pass-rushing demon or you're not going to be on the field. That's what James Houston is. That's what he showed in 2022, but maybe he's just lost a step.
I think they lost faith in him because otherwise you would have seen him way more at this point in the season. It is now week 6 going on week 7, and we have not really much to say about James Houston. I think that's the proof of that you need.
And you hate to say it, but flashes in the pan happen all the time.
All the
NFL.
time. Yep.
Every year you see a couple of people just come out of nowhere, and then they're never the same afterwards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's James Houston's fate. Thank you for what you did in 2022, but right now we need you to be a little bit more, and you're kind of letting us down.
Yeah. Demon diced them as last year's stats, dog. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate that. Don't come to me with last year's stats, bro.
This is the battle we didn't know we needed.
Just please be here after the Lions play the Bears. That's all I want to say.
Yo, I can't wait for that game.
Oh, yeah.
Cody Ingle, Feldman mailbag. If no free agent is brought in or trade made, what adjustments must AG make? I hope they bring someone in, but if they wind up doing a little bit of what they did last year, and that was just kind of how we think we got it, what adjustments do you think will be made?
They're going to have to bring more pressure from the safety position like they did before. And you kind of saw it in this last game. After Hutch went down, Brian Branch was getting pressure. He almost had a sack in this game, too, to add to his stat line. But they got to find other ways to supplement pressure, whether that's from the linebacking core or whether that's from the safety room. They got to have somebody else coming off that edge, man.
That would be the Aaron Glenn adjustment, and I don't think you'd really have much of a choice. I don't love the idea of leaving cornerbacks on islands the whole game, but
we have better corners now.
You do. But that's why I can't stress this enough. The Aiden Hutchinson loss is huge. If the Lions wouldn't have beat the Cowboys by 38 yesterday, I think we'd be a lot more pessimistic / maybe even realistic. All I've ever tried to say is that Aiden Hutchinson is one of the best defensive players in the National Football League, and he's not going to be there. And I don't think the Lions have enough. I don't think there is an adjustment that you could make that could make up for it, or there is a leap that however many players could make that could make up for it. You just have to hope to withstand it, that your offense continues to put up 30, 40 points, and they ride. It's not going to be – I don't think it's going to be a top 10 defense in the NFL without Hutch. You just have to do enough. And that's fine, by the way. That's not –
Yeah.
Thank you for that, brother. Hey, Feldman mailbag, because I'm looking over here. I'm like, goodness, there's a lot of them here, some good ones. Feldman mailbag. Who are some realistic options you guys think the Lions can bring in to help with the defensive line with Hutch down?
I mean, Harold Landry looks like somebody who the Titans might be trying to get rid of because they're not going to do anything whether he's there or not. I saw Josh Allen from the Jaguars, although they just paid him. I don't think they would do that, but they're probably going to fire their coach.
Yeah, Doug Peterson's gone in a
Yeah.
minute.
Trey Hendrickson, I keep seeing that, although the Bengals, they might still think they have a chance.
Crazy.
They won yesterday.
Y'all ain't digging out of this hole. I'm sorry, man.
They did win last night.
Shout out to Broder. He said this on Woodward and Maine this morning. I really think there's a chance to get Myles Garrett because if you look at him, his contract, I think it's only $20 million over the next 3 years. He signed through 2026. And what are the Browns going to do? I mean, you're not going to get rid of Deshaun Watson in that contract, so you got to start cutting bait somewhere. And it would probably be, around that defense. They have a lot of high-paid players on that defense. And Myles Garrett, I think he's up for grabs.
But KG, Nick Chubb is coming back. The Browns are going to be back again.
Until Deshaun get the massages again, it's over.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
$24.99.
They took his superpower away. It's the real.
Oh, for sure.
It's the real.
And
he went from playing one-on-one basketball in his house
right.
with Mia Khalifa to just.
Now, if y'all hit up Rub Maps and get my man back on track, then maybe he'll be the quarterback that he once was. But until then, it's over. He lost the sauce. He ain't got it, man.
Just send him over to New England. They need it.
You know what? You're right about that.
Yeah, Robert Kraft will hook him up with his massage.
Tell me
Robert Kraft got a good spot for him.
Tell me Flannel ain't been on the run since he said, I have a wife.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. But to further that whole Myles Garrett thing, I think with the Cincinnati Bengals, you can at least see a pathway to where they dig themselves out of it because Joe Burrow's playing so well.
Right.
Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback on planet Earth.
And the highest paid.
They're effed. The Browns are going to be a 4-win football team this year. So if you're they might be looking to rebuild. They might be looking to get some salary off the books. Lions, give up anything they want. I don't even care. Myles Garrett on this team, that makes up for everything.
Sheesh.
That makes up for Aiden Hutchinson 100%.
And then you would have Hutch coming back with Myles Garrett?
Oh, my God.
Come on, dog.
Flannel over here about to
Come
erupt.
on, dog.
Because you know why, though?
Damn.
Because
You re-sign the lean? Come on, dog. What are we doing here? You still have
Everything.
DJ Reader? That front four would be crazy.
Shout out JB Smooth.
The Neo Rule face. I'm having a rule-gasm, man.
IT Hips, Feldman mailbag. Does Brad Holmes wait a couple of weeks before pulling the trigger on a deal on getting an edge rusher, or do you believe he makes a move this week?
He can't. I don't think they're making it this week because it just happened. They need time to actually regroup and figure out what player they want to target and how can they get them. But, I mean, they're going to be right up to the trade deadline with this thing. I think if a move happens, it'll probably be like an hour or so before the trade deadline ends.
Oh, man, I love our chat. I keep seeing Mike G. I see you, bro. I want to read some of these, but I know I can't read some of these. But I see you. I do see you. I want to just make sure you know that. Desert Stallion 14, Feldman mailbag. Two things. Any update on CD3 because that kick to the face took him right out. Two, Vilder came in to replace CD3, and I was thinking that would have been Rakeshaw's time to shine. No? And Carlton Davis third.
Yeah,
that was tough, that kick.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, I'd love to see – I would have liked to see Rakestraw as well over Kendall Vildor, but all's well that ends well. It didn't hurt them, so I'm not really too concerned.
It didn't. You do want to see Rakestraw
of
be able
course.
to go. I thought Vildor would be one of those re-sign candidates when we were talking about an offseason, but not to be playing over, like, Rakestraw.
No.
I didn't see that.
That's a little sus.
Yeah.
What up,
and Ray Straw is still a rookie. So I would just say give it time. We did see him on the field, and he hasn't got torched. So, I mean, time will tell on Anise Ray Straw.
Where did it go? I forget who said it. If you put your name or put the question back in there, but they asked who would you rather trade for, and obviously they both come with stipulations, Max Crosby or Hendrickson. I don't see where it was at. But Max Crosby or Hendrickson, obviously Max Crosby is one everybody wants. That one is probably your pipe dream. Terry Foster on Woodward Maine with Matt Broder did say he believes that he is gettable. But it's going to be a situation where you're giving up a ransom. You're effectively mortgaging, like the Rams did, your draft capital future for an opportunity to capitalize right now and cash in right now on a Super Bowl within the next 1, 2, or 3 years.
Yeah, if you're asking me Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby is miles ahead of Trey Hendrickson. No disrespect to Trey Hendrickson, but Max Crosby is one of the 5 best edge rushers in the NFL.
Yep.
Trey Hendrickson is maybe top 10, top 15. He's good. He's real good, and having Hendrickson and Hutch on bookends when Hutch gets healthy is
Tommy
sexy.
K. Shout out Tommy K.
But,
That was his question.
Yeah, Tommy K.
Yep. And yeah, because I think the biggest question, obviously everybody wants Max Crosby, but the biggest question just resides around or revolves around the deal. What do you have to give up, and are you willing to do that? Because there were other deals that popped up, and obviously none of those players up to this point we thought were worth it. Some of us, we were like, hey, you know what? Let's try it. Other of us, we were like, you know what? I don't know if it's worth it because Brad Holmes and what he does with these draft picks, is that worth it? But Max Crosby, I feel like he might be that guy that's worth it. Even if you can get a better deal on a Hendrickson, Max Crosby to this year, and then, like when you almost blew your gasket, when Aiden Hutchinson gets back, that's insane. And he wants to be.
And I know we're probably going to talk about it more as the week goes on, but I think the overlying thing is it's not haterish, it's not doomsday to say that if Aiden Hutchinson is out and he doesn't come back and they try to replace him in-house, which you can't, their chances of winning the Super Bowl go down. The Lions' chances of winning the Super Bowl go down. And if you do something about it, and whether it's a pipe dream or not, I'll just use Max Crosby as an example. Max Crosby is somebody that is every bit the player that Aiden Hutchinson is, maybe even a little bit more advanced at this stage in his career. Then everything is all right in the world again. And imagine when they get back on the field together. I can't even. My mind almost won't let me go to that because it's just too sexy to even comprehend.
Yeah. And you know what? On a day like today, where we should have been just able to kind of just celebrate the victory Monday, we do have to digest what happened with Aiden Hutchinson. And honestly, through this, it's a celebrate the victory Monday. We do have to digest what happened with Aiden Hutchinson. And honestly, through this, it's a big loss. You spelled it out very, very well with the other losses on this defensive line as well. We're not going to understate that, but we do believe that this squad over last year made the necessary changes to try and at least mitigate if they have these types of losses. And obviously, I do believe in Brad Holmes. We believe in this organization. And really, what they've shown us over the last 3 years and to start the season, that, you know what, it's better to believe in them than it would be to doubt. Not that anybody here can't feel like, you know what, this is a sad thing. While we're missing our guy, he was looking like the best player in all of football or these top 5. Sure. But you know what? This Detroit Lions team has a certain character and a certain bounce back that's more than just kind of what we just banter around sometimes. This is the team that actually, in my opinion, they absolutely themselves influence the marketing campaigns, the grit. It's because of it's who they are, the resiliency. It's because of who they are, and I expect them to be that in this situation too.
Well, and you don't have to worry about them crumbling, or exactly. I mean, they're well coached. They are always going to give effort. I think the only thing with the Hutch thing is that are they talented enough on the defensive side of the ball and are rushing the passer? Because everything you mentioned, that's there in droves. They've got one of the best cultures in the NFL. There's their grit for a reason because they all play their ass off and they all want to be there and the coaches believe in them. It's all about the talent and the skill. But we shall see. I think that if that Brad Holmes will do something if that's what he deems necessary.
Hey, you know what? We'll end it like this. Xavier D still celebrating like hell.
Of course.
You got to.
We were today too.
You got to. We already understand what this is. Regardless if anyone believes next man up, you can't do that with Hutchinson. But you know what? The show still goes on.
Yep.
And I believe that we got a pretty rocking band in this Detroit Lions.
Yeah, we do.
Is that a show?
I think so.
I think so.
Hey, let's rock out, man. You know what? We've done a lot of good Feldman shows for whatever reason. This one was one that bittersweet stuff that we had to talk about, but I thought it was really, really good conversation. It was a fun show. Pretty epic day. Flannel, you were in your bag today. KG, you were in your bag today.
Appreciate it.
JB, he was like, you know what? No, y'all gonna get this bag today. It was awesome. Shout out to Stick as well, man. That dude Justin, intern Chase, Matthew Brother, who set the stage today with Woodward and Maine alongside Terry Foster, Spilmo Rax, and Chase that were in the booth there. Shout out to intern Chase again. But KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick, on the soundboards today. Black Hollywood, what up, though, brother?
Hey, you know what it is, man. Another Lions victory. We got a great week ahead of sports talk, man. Can't wait to break down the Tigers and what happened there, man. But still proud of the boys. Shout out to the team. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's keep this thing rolling, man.
Hey, shout out to you guys, too. Got some contributors. Some contributors to the Pistons coverage this season, man. And I can't wait till we talk about it with the people on Wednesday. KG and Flannel got boots on the ground, and we got a whole lot more on the way. I got out to the wheelchair celebrity event, and we got some other events on the way. Little baby event, the Rock the Vote, and all that.
Yep.
We're going to have boots on the ground. Definitely glad to have the contributions, as is the network. Let's just have fun. And
shout out to the Pistons, man.
Somebody over here, I'm gonna just say him right now, Mr. Flannel Sam, Frederico Polo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red Wings might be in that future.
Ooh. We shall see. Stay tuned. But I think this is a perfect day for everybody to celebrate the win.
That's
also
right.
feel somber about Aiden Hutchinson, but that doesn't take away from what we saw on that football field yesterday, which was dominance. It was beautiful.
Hey,
keep that spirit alive all week, Lions fans.
Hey, that's the vet of the show, the squad, the network, Frederico Polo. You might know him as well as Flannel Sam. Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD space. What up, though, JB Smooth?
Press. A bittersweet victory Monday today. Proud of the boys out there. Sad to see Aiden go down. Prayers up to him. Finish the season off for 9-7.
It's a bittersweet victory. This Lions. There we go.
Flannel got the music every
Shout
time.
out the Verve.
I don't know.
No
Before
change I can-
We missed
Okay,
you
go
too,
ahead.
Terrell. We miss everybody, man. All of
Before-
our great listeners in the chat.
And before we shut this down, shout out to Stick, one of our fearless leaders here at Woodward Sports Network. Happy birthday, JG16 Jared Goff.
Shut up.
Happy birthday. Hey, you are. I see what you did there. Hey, I think it's only appropriate. Man, get over here, man. Happy birthday, Stick. Sent the notification, of course.
Oh, here you
It's
go.
not a drill, boys. This is not a drill. It's Jared Goff's birthday. Everybody, happy birthday, Jared Goff. Let's get him whatever he needs. Jared Goff is our hero. He's our Lord. He's my savior. Thank you for coming to Detroit and making this franchise relevant. Thank you for bringing your hot-ass wife here and replacing the last train wreck wife we had at the quarterback position. Thank you for being Mr. Perfect. Thank you for having a 158.3 quarterback rating in the last game. Thank you for dropping that biscuit in the basket to J-Mo right over his shoulder when people said you had small hands and couldn't throw deep
Laporta, too.
passes. I mean, I could go on forever, Jared Goff.
He
I
really
love
could.
you. Thank you for giving the ball back to Dan Campbell and saying he's our rock. That brought tears to my eyes this morning. I just can't speak highly enough about Jared Goff. Thank you for never quitting on yourself when the rest of the world quit on you. They threw you to the wolves, and you came back the leader of the pack. You are the man. It is your birthday. Happy birthday, Jared Goff. From everybody here at Woodward Sports, even hating ass Easy, got to say happy birthday to you. We love you, Jared Goff. Thank you for coming to Detroit and saving us. Tom Brady said he wants to play quarterback for the Detroit Lions. You don't get to, Tom Brady. Jared Goff's our quarterback.
Let's go.
Hey, and that word was brought to you by
Man,
Stick, the official
what a promo.
Jared Goff spokesman of Woodward Sports.
Have you
What
heard
a
about our Lord and
promo.
Savior, Jared Goff?
Dog, what a problem. I'm over here yelling at Feldman. They over here trying to handle business. I'm sorry, people, but hey, Detroit Lions, man, they make us feel some type of way. And it's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Can't wait. We got a packed show the entire week. This has been a great one. And chat family, as always, you guys are the most important part of this. Smash that like button to support the WUW Crew. And most importantly, have a blessed day. Go Lions.